spaghetti.
SDPP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Well, guys, we just found out right before the show that Andre Iguodala is retiring from the NBA.
What?
That's gun to the earth, Andre Iguodala.
No!
He's retiring from basketball to run Mosaic, a $200 million venture capital fund that he recently raised.
Who cares what it's worth? The earth is in peril.
He is an investor in, apparently, Zoom, Robinhood, Coinbase, Cloudflare, Leeds United, and Bay FC of the NWSL. I don't know what that is.
National Women's Soccer League.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was the acronym for it. My apologies.
No, they're doing good things.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think...
Well, they're not going to be for much longer.
Why?
Because now the aliens are going to invade Earth because Andre Iguodala is not there to defend us. And now we have to rely on a much less accurate shooter like Steph Curry to protect us from the aliens.
if
I want to play it, but if it I won't play the video, and then if the audio triggers it, I'll just take it out of the show.
Everyone's seen the
For
video.
everybody on the audio side, I think we need to at least play
You
it.
want to play
It's
it?
the funniest thing on
It's the
earth.
funniest thing. Let's do it. Go.
Maddie, don't show the video, but here we go.
One shot. Who would you rather have
So let
taken?
me restart it.
With the game on the line, one shot. Who would you rather have taking it? Iggy or Curry?
Of everyone on Golden State, open shot, fate of the universe on the line, or the Martians have the death beam pointed at Earth. You
The
better
death
hit it.
beam?
I want Iguodala. Iguodala's got ice water in his veins.
audience
Iguodala is that type of player. High leverage.
Man, that was in Toronto, wasn't
That
it?
was in Toronto, the 2019
Wow.
finals. Yeah.
Wow.
It's right there during the Golden State Raptors run. Like they're at the
that
Scotiabank
is
Arena,
Toronto.
and Max Kellerman's sitting there with Stephen A., who could not be bothered.
Listen, Max Kellerman only left, what is this, First Take?
First take, yeah.
Well, he only left First Take recently. He was fired that day.
Yeah.
Look,
well, have you read
we can't
Stephen
show
A.
the
Smith's
video.
book
Can
yet?
you show his face? Just,
Oh, you want? Hold on.
just
hold on,
please
hold on.
show Stephen A. Smith. Look at this. Look at this.
There you go.
Oh, man. Is that Isaiah Thomas, too?
Yeah,
Look at
it
Isaiah
is.
Thomas.
Yeah.
It's like Isaiah Thomas has a perma smile. He has resting smile face. But even him, he's like, oh, boy.
Adam, you would know this very well. I believe that's the Scotia Club.
That's 11.
No,
That's-
no.
No, you're right.
that's
It's,
the
It's in the arena.
It's
Yeah.
downstairs in the arena.
Yeah.
You're right. Sorry, it's got the glow up thing. The bar is like glows. That's their big thing. I don't know. That's where the players eat breakfast too after like skate or shoot around and stuff in the morning.
I recognize that bar from that video where the Halloween video where the inflatable Carlton the bear scared everybody.
Oh yeah,
He went, boo, and Matthews went, "Whoa!"
yeah. That was a great video, and I wish they'd do another one.
They
Probably,
they
yeah.
got to do it more.
Anyways,
Mitch
this
being upset that he got
It's an all time.
one of the greatest television sports talk moments ever.
Well, and it's funny
With the way it's permeated pop culture.
when I think Stephen A. talks about it generally in his book. His book's really good, but he basically he talks about Max's start on First Take, and he's like, listen, the problem with Max Kellerman was that he would retract his argument. He's like, if you're gonna make the argument, you got to stick to the argument, right? But like he'd say something and then he'd backtrack on it like a day later, and that was something that really got under Stephen A.'s skin. He's like, think about it, believe in it, and even if you're wrong, stick to it because you went out with it.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah.
Make it a bit. Make it wear New Jersey Devils pajamas.
Yeah, 100%. Exactly.
I didn't like how Stephen A. Smith, unasked, just started destroying Max Kellerman in the media. I think it was
that's bullshit.
Yeah,
it was
that-
And it's funny because
Ridiculous.
in his book, he's really nice about it.
Yeah. And then just unprompted, he goes on whatever podcast and he's like, that guy, he's never be me. He'll be back and all this stuff. This is nonsense. I didn't like that.
Not cool.
Held you from what?
He didn't hold
The
me
most
back.
He didn't
lucrative
prop up the
sports
show.
talk contract in the world?
Yeah, there's no reason to destroy another media member who you got fired from your show.
Yeah.
It was so unnecessary.
And listen, he may not have been a fit, but you don't need to kick him on the way out. And he was also like laid off too, and then those conversations started happening, and it's like, okay, so you only weren't shit talking him because he was also employed by ESPN.
Yep.
And I love Stephen A., but I thought that was bullshit too. You're right, Jesse.
Yeah, I think you can love someone and criticize them.
100%. 100%. I like that
Adam,
show. I watch it
you're
every day.
You're too cute.
Oh, thank
Are
you.
you worried about the Earth now, Steve?
I am. Like, here we are laughing, but really I'm just enjoying my final moments with friends.
Why did
Because
they?
We're vulnerable now as a species.
Why did they make
vulnerable.
Space Jam about Michael Jordan and then Space Jam 2 about LeBron James when Andre Iguodala was right there?
Oh,
Like, who do you want on the Toon Squad?
they should have. It should have been like aerial shot of New York and people gasping and oh my god, and just Max Kellerman in Times Square going, "I know just who to call."
And he puts up the Iguodala sign, like Batman.
Yes, it's just the bad signal of him getting blocked by LeBron.
If like Gatorade was smart, they'd make that commercial. You know, or like Nike, they'd go out and they just get the two guys to make a commercial. It'd be hilarious.
Be a good Super Bowl spot.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can get comedic, right?
If a crypto brand ever gets money again, maybe they'll make it.
Yeah. You know what? I'll give crypto credit for one thing. Their commercials were always outrageously pompous or outrageously funny. Like the Matt Damon. Remember the Matt Damon commercial for crypto? He's like, "Welcome to the new world."
yes.
And he's like looking at Mars. I'm like, "Yeah, because you did a movie about Mars. I get it."
The best one is the Larry David commercial, where he's like, where he's going through history, and he's like at the wheel, and he's like, this thing will never catch on. And then he's at like the invention of the internet. He's like, I don't believe it. And then he gets to like 2022 or whenever the commercial is, he's like, crypto, I don't want to do it. And then it didn't really work.
It didn't. He was right.
It was a very good commercial.
Here's
from
the
crypto.
Super Bowl commercial. Like, all right, you need a field goal to win the Super Bowl. Who you picking? And like one guy picks one guy from the kicker from one of the teams. Another person picks the kicker from the other team in the Super Bowl. And then camera pans to Max Kellerman. And he goes, "I want Iguodala." And Iguodala kicks a field goal, and everyone goes nuts. And then they go Arby's. Or that would be my Super Bowl ad.
Now, Andre Iguodala is invested in all of those things.
Yes.
Did he miss an opportunity by naming his fund what he named it instead of Iguodala's?
Yeah, like
Oh.
misspelled his own name.
Yeah. So,
with dollars.
so he's got a $200 million investment fund. Why wouldn't you call it Iguodala's?
Iggy's.
Right? Iggy's for short. I just feel like that's a better. I mean, maybe people wouldn't like that as much as I would, but I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And you know what? Good for him on having that to step into, right?
What a neat side hustle.
Yeah. I don't want to play basketball
everything?
anymore.
Yeah, I think I'll dabble in everything. Multi-million-dollar everything.
And I wonder if you're an investor of Zoom, like, are those the type of shares that are just the ones that, you know, your stockbroker buys, or are those the type of shares where you got to go to board meetings? Because there's like Class A and Class B, you know. Right?
Zoom is such a great example of what is it? Necessity
Is the mother of invention?
is the mother of invention. Like, because we, for whatever reason, we're all using shitty Skype for years because we never actually had to use it.
And Skype never wanted it. It never felt like Skype wanted to get better. They released the product and they're like, "This is what it is.
Here's some garbage.
You have your no. You can only use your phone number."
Here's blue garbage. And then the pandemic happened, and we got rid of that shit within 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Within 2
Yeah.
weeks, we were like, nope, Zoom.
Well, and I remember it used to be like if we were going to have a guest, well, we'd have to have them on the phone, or we'd have to have them in person. We simply couldn't video them in. And I don't listen. We haven't had many people in the studio because people want to do their interviews from home.
On Zoom?
On Zoom. And I was
The damn
watching
thing works.
Insider Trading to get some prep this morning. Our boy CJ. New CJ show out yesterday, by the way. And he's at home. Pierre LeBrun's at home. Darren Drager's at home. Oh, no, Darren Drager's in the studio because he was doing the game that night, and Duthie is in the studio.
He's not always at
No, he's
studio.
sometimes at home.
He's at home.
And it's like they've got the full, like, we could have been doing this for 20 years, though. It's not like that technology is new.
But we were all like,
Right.
yeah, no, Skype is the only thing that exists. Even though we knew it wasn't. Like, we knew that.
Yeah.
We were very aware. And then Zoom came in, and we were like,
wild.
You're the one.
with
Work.
with athletes doing other things outside with their money, you know, from like their being an athlete. Do you guys ever hear the story of Junior Bridgman? I believe is it Junior Bridgman.
No.
Son of Senior Bridgman.
He was an NBA player in the 70s, and he only played for, I don't know, like dozen seasons, 11 seasons ish. And he took his NBA money and he invested in a bunch of Wendy's franchises. and now he's worth over $600 million.
I think you've told this story.
I must
remember
have.
the guy's name.
Yeah.
Didn't Norm Nixon from the Lakers do the same thing too? He owned a bunch of like real estate and parlayed. He was a good player, a very, very good player, but he wasn't Magic Johnson or Kareem. But he invested in a bunch of property. I think Arnold. I know this isn't the same. I guess he was an athlete. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a billionaire not because of his movies. He's a billionaire because of his real estate.
I think that's a little different.
I think it's both.
No, but it was the real estate portfolio that did it.
Well, okay, here, wait. No one's ever heard of this one. You guys know Tim Horton?
Yeah, but Tim Horton, that family doesn't control it. There's a whole story there.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, but I
They don't
think Arnold Schwarzenegger and Junior Bridgman, I'm talking about like, a guy who's a bench player taking the hundreds of thousands of dollars he made and making some wise investments, turning that to Wendy's franchise and then selling it. And he's almost a billionaire and he's in his 70s now.
That's cool.
Versus Arnold Schwarzenegger, a worldwide celebrity actor who is just more famous now.
Yeah.
I think when he came to America, he was investing in properties like right away in like the shittiest parts of LA.
Yeah.
You could pay up for nothing.
How did he do that?
How did he do? Well, you'd have to ask him.
How did he get the money?
You know what? I'll
How did
put
he
the
get the money?
60 Minutes interview where he talks about
How
it.
did he get the money to do that?
Yeah, my friend Arnold, the realtor.
No, the magnate. That's what he is. The magnate.
magnate.
I don't know why they call real estate people that and nobody else, but they're magnates.
I call them realtors.
Now, there's a really famous story in hockey about Johnny Gaudreau in his first season with the Calgary Flames, going up to, and Jesse, we're gonna. I sent you a text on this one, so we'll have to pull this picture up. Going up to the arena, and the arena staff not believing that he played there because he was 5'9"
and a child.
Yeah, and 125 pounds. I know they fudged the numbers for sure, right? Like he was a short guy, and he had to had to persist and be like, no, like check the list. Here's my license, whatever it was, and eventually he gets in and they let him in. Another player that had to do this, and this is hilarious because he's been in the NHL for over a decade easily.
He was drafted 2010.
Is Tyler Sequin. Apparently, this happened in Dallas too.
Oh no!
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Oh no!
He looks great. The double-breasted suit is perfection.
He really is handsome as fuck.
He is.
It's so.
And look at the smile. But he had to prove to security that he played there and had to Google himself in a Stars jersey so that they would let him in.
And like all due respect to that security guard, I don't think he's new there.
No, that guy's a lifer.
He could be. I don't know. Oh man, that's just embarrassing. I saw that photo and I was like, please don't be in Dallas.
I wonder what the story was. I don't know that it was, but I wonder what the story was there because usually the players all get off the bus together and they just let him through. So why was he not on that bus? Or like, was he getting some physical therapy done? Was he? I don't like. You know what I mean? Like he must have shown up separately from the team.
Yeah. All you need. No. Good on the security guard though. All you need to sneak into an NHL game is a $2,000 suit. So, pull that out of your closet and throw on your $2,000 suit, and you too can get into an NHL arena.
Yeah.
Imagine the dude didn't call anyone. He didn't call anyone. He Googled himself. I love that.
Yep.
Here's me on the team site. Here's me scoring a goal. Here's me signing my contract. You want to know how much I make? It's on Cap Friendly.
Much smaller level, but I've had to do that because I was traveling with recording equipment to interview Usher like 10 years ago.
Oh, me too. Yeah.
And no, it was like it was where when they used to fly you in to interview people, now they just do it over Zoom.
Right.
And so I flew from Calgary. That's Calgary, and that's where I missed my flight. Remember, I went to Dulles instead of JFK or whatever.
I do remember.
Or Ronald Reagan, whatever the air. It's named after some fucking president who I don't know. I'm still so upset about that.
President Dulles.
But I had to buy a new ticket and then go through Montreal. And I don't know if American
Where were
Customs.
you going?
I was going to Calgary. I had to fly from Washington D.C. to Montreal.
Oh.
It was supposed to be the original flight was through Toronto.
That's awful.
It was terrible, and it was an 8-hour layover. So I played StarCraft. But
that's how big Usher.
But they were like, what is this? And I don't know if Americans get this. Canadian customs people are way harder on Canadians than I think any country should be on their own.
Yeah, because we just crossed the border into Buffalo for a few hours, buy like $200 worth of booze and then lie about
And
it.
they're like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Because we're dirty liars.
Hey, you, what the fuck? And I'm like, I have a passport. And they're like, that doesn't matter. What were you doing down there?
Is
And
there
I'm like,
a problem, officer? And you're wearing $500 worth of American clothes.
well, and
Brand new.
I had a cheap watch on. They're like, did you get that down there? And I'm like, no. And they're like, can you prove that? I'm like, well, no, because I wouldn't have the receipt on me because I didn't get it down there. And it was all scuffed up or whatever. And then they're like, what's this microphone for? And it's like a cheap, if you know anything about microphones, it was like a cheap SM58, nothing microphone, $100. And then like an old shitty DAT recorder. And they're like, what are you doing with this stuff? I'm like, well, I was recording an interview. And they're like, what's the camera for? I'm like, recording the interview for a video.
Yeah.
And they're like, where do you work? I'm like, I work at Virgin Radio. And
They
that,
do not like equipment.
and they were like, well, can you prove that? And I said, okay, so do you listen to Virgin Radio Montreal? And they said, yes. I said, pull up the website. And they pulled it up. I'm like, I'm the last name there on the Canadian top
You
20
said,
countdown.
Google me.
Google me.
King shit.
That was the only name
Adam Wilde.
because my everything was listed under Adam Wilde. Fun fact, I have a different last name, which shocked people. So,
dude, that screwed me too.
Yeah.
That screwed me at the bank.
Yeah?
Yeah, because I've gotten checks for Steve Dangle. And I
Oh, yeah.
and I bring them to the bank. This used to be like when it was. We're talking like $300 intern checks, and I'm like, please, I need this money. And they're like, is your name Steve Dangle? I'm like, no. So you're not legally Steve Dangle. I go, no, and they're like, okay, well, no,
You can't get your money,
you
sir.
can't get your money. Tell them to send a check to a person who exists,
Right.
and then you can have your money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, yeah, at the border, they do not like cameras and microphones.
No, at all. And everybody has one in their phone. I'm not really sure why it matters that it's an external microphone.
No. Oh, well,
Do you guys want the background on the Tyler Sequin story now?
no,
Give it to
I
me.
don't.
Okay, so
I want it.
the Dallas Stars are playing in Vegas.
is it
Oh,
Vegas?
so it's in Vegas.
They're playing in Vegas.
Okay, understandable.
T-Mobile Arena. Tyler Sequin shows up a little ahead of the rest of the team bus. He tries to go to security. Security says, no, you can't come in. You got to show me 3 pieces of identification to get into the dressing room. And he's like, here's a picture of me on NHL.com. And then moments later, the team bus rolls up with Jamie Benn and the rest of the crew, and they all walk.
And Jamie Benn cross-checked him in the face.
Yeah, and that happened.
And then,
so,
how he got in.
shoot,
so it's
you're
at
on my
T-Mobile Arena. The security guards he does the right thing. You know,
Yeah, sure.
Sagan doesn't have whatever pass he needs to get through, and he doesn't let him in.
Who snapped this photo? Name names.
There are fans that I
This
think wait
person,
outside
Sam.
of the Vegas.
Cy Samuel. At Cy Samuel on Twitter.
Hilarious. Yeah. It's funny.
He took it in great stride, and you can see the body language on the security guard. Like, well, I don't know who the fuck you are.
Honestly, like that security guard might work the majority of like UFC events. He
Yeah.
might not be a hockey fan at all.
He's-
He could have worked there before the Golden
And-
Knights existed.
doing his job. I
Even
thought
if he
this was
is, he's
down.
doing his job.
Yeah.
Could be a guy that looks like Tyler Sagan.
Yeah.
Show me your fucking ID, Tyler.
You got to go get a nice suit and some AirPods.
Yeah.
Walk up and
you
you're like,
too could be Tyler Sagan today.
you know?
Yeah, 100%.
It doesn't help that there's, for some reason, the second most popular genre of YouTube video behind interviewing strangers with a tiny microphone is I snuck into this sports event and here's how.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. I am always perplexed at the new and growing trend of people filming their crimes. Filming their own and posting their own crimes.
It's like the Mr. Burns thing. If everybody's doing it, like remember how there's like a little door
Yeah,
and he's got everything and
there's
they,
More of a chowder head.
yeah.
Yeah.
They can't fit all the diseases through the door. They can't fit all the crimes through the door.
No.
So why not just film it?
And like the famous one from a few years ago is that guy who got in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. And he's just like hanging out. But he's dressed like someone who would be in the ring with Floyd Mayweather.
Mm-hmm.
And he just walked confidently for a while and got in.
Act like you belong there.
Act like you belong.
That's a good story. So another good story I have for you guys. So I'm going to lift you up. I'm going to tear you down. Okay.
Okay.
Matthew Nye has turned 21 on the 18th. And according to Terry Koshan of the Toronto Sun, John Tavares' sons wanted to throw him a little birthday party.
Oh.
Tavares said when they got home from school, They gave him a gift, which was a suitcase and a shirt. They were pretty fired up about it and happy to say happy birthday and sing happy birthday to him.
Oh,
That's the most animated I've heard of a John Tavares quote, saying they were pretty fired up.
His children were fired.
Yeah, no, John. Not
No, yeah. John would never be fired.
Oh, no, he couldn't. Simply could
He
not.
would be lukewarm on everything.
If fired up for John Tavares is a big word, so they must have just been bouncing off the walls.
Matthew, I understand it's the day of your birth, and my
Congrats.
kids had something to say. Here's a suitcase so you could pack your shit. Just joshing. Happy birthday. I love him.
Oh, I like him. Oh, yeah, he's a great guy.
love
I mean, like, listen, there's nothing that John Tavares has done as a captain that you can't not love. Other than not win the cup, I think that this guy's been a pretty great captain.
He has a brand. Show up to sad sack franchises, score their first series winning goal in forever, and just be nice and also quiet.
Now we talked about this, and I want to bring it up again because I think it has to do. The Leafs game against Chicago, I think, had a lot of relevancy to the Leafs game last night. And I want to start with Reeves versus Perry. Now, you remember the quote where Ryan Reeves says, and it's been making the rounds, he's like, I never really liked Corey Perry. He acts tough. He's not tough. Luke Richardson, who, by the way, I'm a big fan of.
Yes.
And I've been saying for years this guy's going to be a great coach.
I think he's a good coach.
This is what Luke Richardson had to say. Perry was yapping at him from the bench and told him he lost his last 2 fights. So Reeves asked him, what are you going to do? You're scared of me. And Corey is like, I've never been scared a day in my life. For the young players to hear that and then go out and see him wrestle with Reeves, he said, wrestle Reeves to the ice and then score the game-winning goal. Who's more effective in that game?
Oh, I mean, obviously Corey Perry is the more effective.
And if you're a Blackhawks fan, you're not like, fucking right. Love this coach. Love this player.
No, absolutely. I mean, Ryan Reeves lost a ton of points this week. I went off yesterday in the LFR video. Like, listen, games 1 and game 2, highly relevant player. You had a big hit that led to someone jumping you and getting into a fight in both games. You were called on a penalty for neither of those hits. That's exactly what you want Ryan Reeves to do. Yapping at Corey Perry, whatever. It's fine. It was good that, the Blackhawks young guys took something from that with Corey Perry. I mean, his fight card is a big pile of what the hell is this? But, he's not afraid. He turtles a lot, but he's not afraid.
He's not afraid because he doesn't have to fight, because he won't.
Well, sometimes he does. He picks his spots very well.
Of course he does. He's good at it.
Yes. Like, you look at his fight card and there's like Ben Harper on there and you're like, how did that sneak in there? But then he's got like Vinny Trocheck. And like it's really strange. But Ryan Reeves, last night against the Florida Panthers, Leafs were the second toughest team. And toughness, lots of toughness. All they've been talking about is snot and toughness. And they showed dick all against the Florida Panthers. Nylander was run from behind. There's no penalty. What happens when someone is run from behind and there's no penalty? In hockey.
You have to fight someone. Usually.
Yes. So, like, what is Ryan Reeves supposed to do? Instigate a fight and put his team short? Yes. It's game 4. It's game 4. And there are 82 games in the season. Someone hits Nylander.
So if it's game 4 of the playoffs, maybe not.
Game before the playoffs.
Game 4 of the playoffs.
Oh, game 4 of the playoffs. Yeah, sorry. Maybe you don't do it. Game 4 of the regular season, someone hits one of your best players from behind and there's no penalty call. Your next shift, you confetti gloves and beat the fuck out of that person. That is how hockey has always worked. Steve, are you condoning this, condoning that? No, I'm just not a naive idiot. This is how it has always fucking worked. From the moment I was born until today, October 2023, it is how it's always worked. And instead, less than 7 minutes played, 2 hits, -1, took a penalty. Fuck are you doing out there?
Jesse, you agree with that?
Yeah, I sat there after the William Nylander incident. And I was like, what's the point of having Ryan Reeves if it isn't for this? I thought this was the exact team in the exact scenario that we hired this man for. go out there and do something about that hit, because it was dangerous, especially because of that weird area where you're standing like a foot from the boards, where you have an opportunity to go head first into it. You're not right up against it, so you don't just smack there. You get your body crunched into it, and it's bending. It's on the floor. That's how you like ruin your spine for life.
And you could be like, well, it was an accident on Kulika. It shouldn't have been boarding. Shouldn't have been hitting from behind. I don't give a fuck if it's a penalty. Your star player got hurt. Beat him up.
Yeah, you got your star player got hurt in a very dangerous hit, and I think that's what Ryan Reeves was hired for. That, along with all the off-ice stuff, getting the lineup to be happy in the locker room, and playing music and all that other stuff, and taking attention away. This was the game where we needed Ryan Reeves the most, and I don't know where he was.
Like you are like what are the Leafs going to get the Panthers for Father's Day? Is all I want to know. Like before the game, before the game, they asked Paul Maurice. They asked Paul Maurice.
I have the quote if you want it.
Asked Paul Maurice about
the Radko Gudas thing.
About the Radko Gudas screaming
Jesse,
in their rookie goaltender.
I'm gonna send you the picture here too, because I think it's relevant. Unless you, I've got it on a tweet. Okay, so because this is important, and I think you're onto something here. So I'm not gonna take it away, but
believe me, I know I'm right.
Luke Fox.
People won't like it, but I know I'm right.
We thought it was kind of funny. This is the Radko Gudas yelling at Joseph Woll after the series clinching goal.
He thought that was kind of funny. Look at that shit.
He's just such an emotional guy. It was a barbaric yelp. People from Toronto didn't appreciate it the same way we did. Now, Paul Maurice was run out of town here too. So unfairly, but anytime he can get one over on the Leafs, he's going to, and I don't want to blame him for that.
By the way, with the Florida Panthers, you know the term suspension of disbelief? If you've ever had trouble understanding what that term means, look no further than the rivalry between these two teams, because the "We Want Florida" chant, the Panthers fans chanted it, and people were like, "This is awesome! Oh my fucking God!" They loved it so much. Meanwhile, they said "We want Boston" too. Everyone knows that they said "We want Boston" as well, which is more psychotic, by the way, that Leaf fans would want Boston in any situation. But no one gives a fuck because it's funny to them. So they're able to suspend disbelief. No, Leaf fans said this and only this, therefore I'm going to think this is funny for the rest of my life. This is Jergens for me mentally for the rest of my entire life. Stop it. And absolutely, the amount
that's a
of
lotion.
Masturbatory tweets I saw for that stupid chant based in a dishonest social media post.
I thought we were past that.
I don't think we can get past that.
He's getting dunked on?
No.
You think the hockey world would ever get past that?
After the Florida Panthers handed the Leafs their lunch, I thought we were past no, they won. Like, you can't be like, oh yeah, they're doing all this mental. No, they won. They did sun us.
Yeah, they sunned them.
Okay,
and then before the game,
the Leafs fans lost.
No, they lost.
Okay,
they lost.
We lost collectively.
I mean,
it was embarrassing.
It was embarrassing, but the meme is somewhat based in bullshit.
Okay,
yeah,
they won.
They won.
Yeah, they dunked on us. They just admit it.
Yes,
okay.
And then before the game. We thought that guy screaming at our rookie goaltender was funny. And Ryan Reeves at a fucking golf tournament in the summer was like, well, if I was there, if you were there, what? Mm-hmm. If you were there, nothing. If you were there, nothing.
Because last night
you had your opportunity.
He did nothing.
You had your opportunity against a watered down Florida Panthers team. They gave you a reason to do something and you didn't do anything.
So beyond that, here are the reasons. Okay. Here are the reasons. This is important. The context of this game, if you didn't watch this game, if you're not a Leafs fan, is the Panthers eliminated the Leafs from the playoffs. Yes. Yep. They also raised their Eastern Conference banner while Toronto was in town, which most Toronto fans, and I would venture players and organization, thought we got a really good shot at this before they took on Florida and got stomped.
Yep.
And Aaron Ekblad, Brandon Montour, and Sam Bennett are all out with injuries.
2/3 of their right side and a guy who caused them physical headaches.
Now, while I give you...
You suck.
Now I get it. It's game 4.
You suck.
It's game 4. But this one, if you're a Leaf fan, tell me how you don't get up for this, right? Leaf fans are up for this. Leaf fans were fired up. And I was fired up for all those reasons. I'm like, great, they have injuries. Let's kick their ass.
Yeah. No,
this will be great.
They're big old bluffers.
And they came out really soft. I think that Jeff O'Neill did a really great job after the first period pointing out how soft they were, especially on defense. And this is not about throwing a hit when you're out of position. This is about crunching a guy in the corner who's along the boards. And the guy that I need, who I'm a huge fan of, who needs to step up, needs to be a core member of the top 4 players that play defense on this team going forward, is Jake McCabe. I need him to figure it out.
He was crunching guys last night. I don't know how productive it was.
Well, so there was one instance in the first period where he literally just bums a guy, just puts a bum in him.
Yeah.
And that's it. And it doesn't, so when you hit somebody, the tactical advantage is that you're able to either pin them, knock them off the puck, or both. None of those things happen.
Their whole decor is lost out there. Which, I mean, heading into the season, I didn't think it was going to be that good. It's early. They'll figure it out. They'll be better than this, but they look lost right now.
I didn't think the McCabe-Liljegren pairing worked.
I think if Brad Treliving could tie Liljegren to a rocket, he would. I think he might be the first person he trades.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not his kind of defenseman?
No. Dude, in 32 Thoughts, one of the Sam Lafferty trade possibilities that Elliot Friedman talked about is supposedly, if I'm remembering correct, they offered Sam Lafferty to the Oilers for Vinny Desharnais.
Ooh, not Seaweed Man.
Well, I mean, what do they want?
Why do you want the Oilers defense?
Well, yeah, first of all, the Leafs and Oilers
doing?
need to stop exchanging defensemen.
Oilers fans would have been thrilled, I think.
Probably.
Yeah.
No, what a fucking awesome trade that would have been for Edmonton. But like they're soft as baby shit back there. They're soft as baby shit.
And they got a guy now. Klingberg's not hard. Riley can throw it, but he's not like a tough guy.
What a clueless play by Klingberg on the first call.
Yeah, yeah.
Talk about a guy who didn't, for someone who is paid over $4 million for their vision, he passed it to nobody.
Yeah.
He backhand, no shoulder check, passed it to absolutely no one. What are you doing? What are you doing? Like last night, there were so many "what are you doing" performances.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know it's game 4. We take like I said this after game 2. We take all of this on balance. You got to take it like 10 games at a time in the regular season because there's how many games?
82.
Thank you. But I feel like last night as a fan, it was the first time this year where I was like, okay, guys, you couldn't get up for this one. You could. You're in their building. They're chanting, "We want Florida." They're bringing their Eastern Conference banner and they're putting it up in front of you.
The dozens of them getting fired up for the almost banner.
The coach is giving you their coach is giving you shit.
He's making fun of you.
And you can't get up for, like athletes invent shit all the time. Mm-hmm. Like Tom Brady. No one thought we could do it when everybody thought he could do it.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, Tom Brady's going to win the Super Bowl. He's like, nobody thought we could do it. And he's standing there with Giselle. And we're like, yeah, Tom, whatever you need to tell yourself to get fired up. Mm-hmm. Or the Michael Jordan meme, like, and then I took that personally. And it's something super small.
They haven't taken it personally in their entire life.
I would love for the Leafs to take something personally.
No.
That one, as a fan, because I'm a fan first, I took it personally. I was fired up. I'm like, let's go fucking kick their ass.
Do not bring lunch money when the Leafs are in town. They're buying.
I think they're
buying every time.
I think they need to figure out a lot of the bottom 6.
I agree with you.
The fourth line especially wasn't great, and like Minton's trying out there, but he's not doing his best. Noah Gregor is so fast, like he's running around, but he has no finish yet, and that's unfortunate.
I like his game, and
Domi's non-existent.
No, he's irrelevant out there. It's crazy. Someone tweeted, they're like, hey, he had 56 points. He had 13 points in 19 playoff games. How? Mm-hmm. How the fuck? I've barely even seen the puck on his stick. And he's not long for this team. He's going to be gone. But Fraser Minton, he's out of his depth, but he took a lick and kept on ticking. Like there was one shift in particular where he got rocked like 4 times.
Yeah, he was standing in front of the net, and I forget who he was battling, but that guy was just giving him cross checks.
Might have
constantly.
been Nico.
He played
another guy who could have probably used an ass kicking, and no one was there.
8 minutes and 47 seconds for Minton. At this point, I'm wondering, why keep him the complimentary 9 games or whatever it is? Just put him back.
They got to be up to something. They got to be thinking of something.
Jesse,
there's no way they think this is the optimal lineup. There's no way.
They did have a move today. They recalled Pontus Holmberg. Simon Benoit was loaned to the Marlies, so I don't know if that's anything.
That's it.
Simon Benoit, who is supposed to bring the toughness, right?
Wow.
If he plays.
If he plays, which he hasn't.
Yeah, he hasn't. So.
I mean, but the fact, like, listen, we all watched Simone Benoit in the preseason. It was horrible.
He needs to play some games because he missed a good part of the
He'll do that at Coca-Cola Coliseum.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to play some games, but that guy crushes people. Like, this is what they're looking for. And
if you look at the way, listen, you can agree with the strategy or not. This is how Brad Treliving builds a defense. Look at what he had in Calgary, and he had one of the best defense cores in the league.
Anderson, Rasmus Anderson, Oliver Shillington,
Noah Hannafin, Mackenzie Weegar,
Nikita Zadorov is snot. I'm trying to think of who else is on that D core. It's a really good, really deep D.
You could have a Zadorov when your top four looked like theirs did.
Yes.
You can't have a Zadorov or a lesser version of Zadorov being Simon Benoit on the ice if your top four can't figure it out, which brought me back to the McCabe-Liljegren pairing, which for me was like, and Jake McCabe, there's one partner he plays really well with where he looks good. And it's just everybody else. I don't even know. But yeah, this is the thing.
But Riley Brody, I think, is fine. Like I have no problem with Riley Brody. I think, and like, did you bring in John Klingberg to be your third pairing defenseman and work with Giordano?
Not for $4
Like that's not why you brought in Klingberg. No. So it's weird that McCabe and Liljegren received so much time on ice, and those kind of like Riley played the most, but a lot of it was even. It was like 18 through 22 for everybody.
Yeah,
you know.
And like, listen, the world is not, the sky is not falling.
No,
Austin Matthews is playing like a maniac. Like a maniac. Him on the PK is crazy.
Mitch Marner had his best game of the season.
And even his first period was a bit of a struggle, but then he scored.
Yeah. But I'm still okay with saying last night was a what the fuck. I've never understood the whole thing, and I think this only belongs to Twitter, where it's like, calm down. No, fuck off, man. I'm a fan. I wasted my spare time on that piece of shit game. I'm allowed to be mad about it.
No, but we were just saying both. Like, there's a lot of good things that happened in the first four games, and last night was a mess.
Totally. Yeah. And Samsonov here, I'll give you some good. I thought Sammy looked pretty strong last night.
No, the goals weren't good enough. Like the goals that he allowed weren't good enough to allow.
Okay, how about this?
Keith pointed that out too.
Yeah, Keith, I think his quote was they were too far out.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, what about this? Mitch Marner scored a goal, and I don't think he's had the greatest start. So it was nice to see him get on the board.
That's what we're saying. Yeah, his best game of the season so far.
First 10, 15 minutes of that game, he was lost. He was lost. He was just trying shit out there. And like, he was in fun, goofy preseason mode. Like, make a pass. Actually, even better, take a shot.
Because he's got a great shot.
He has a great shot, and sometimes, especially at the beginning of the season, he has this tendency to overpass. Shoot. They know you're passing, Mitch. Shoot. It fucked people up when he started shooting. He scored over 30 goals.
100%. And that's why that's why I asked the question, I think in the Leaf season preview, is it out of the realm of possibility that he could get 40 one day? If he doesn't shoot, it's never going to happen.
I mean, part of the reason Matthews got 60 is they're like, oh, Mitch shoots now.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Now I got to cover them both.
What do we do about that? Part of the reason.
One of the things Florida did really, really well against the Leafs in the playoffs last year, and they did it again last night, is that collapse defense. Whatever it is that, I don't even know what you call it, but they are able to clog their own end in such a way that the Leafs have to remain on the outside, and they even do it on the penalty kill. Like, towards the end of the game, when the Leafs actually picked up their intensity, again,
how many games
like 6 on 5, right? It's like, wow, now we know they're going to play. Florida is able to, and they really, I think, get under the Leafs' skin on this one. The Leafs have not figured this out. They're able to do it in such a way that they collapse in but don't come out of position, and they don't concede the gap to your points or your corners the way that the Leafs do when they do something similar. Like, one of the problems I always have with the Leafs defense, and I've perennially had this for 8 years, is, in this iteration of what the Leafs are, gap control. Their defensive gap control, especially from the forwards on the way back, on the back check,
the point is so bad.
It's brutal. It's brutal so on the PK. They're always rushing. Yeah. Right? The Florida Panthers calmly collapse, and then they spread out, and then it's like a heartbeat, and they do it really well. And the Leafs couldn't. You saw towards the end of the game against Chicago, the Leafs could have had 4 goals there. Soderblom was really good. They missed a couple net, whatever. But against Florida, I don't think any of that was going in. The only thing that I think that they missed truly on was Morgan Riley earlier on in the game.
Riley. And like that's, I mean, what do you say about
That happens.
He missed. Yeah, like it happens. He missed.
Yeah.
He missed, and like the Leafs outshot them, they outchanced them. Guys, how many times can you watch a scary movie and go
And still be scared?
yeah, like oh maybe they get the bad guy this time. Oh, maybe the guy who goes, hello? Maybe he won't get killed in this movie.
Right.
Guys, this is how
What's the rule?
Panthers
What's
win
the rule
games.
in horror movies? It's like if you have sex, you're going to die.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
That's what-
how many times do you need to watch the Panthers win the exact same way? Mm-hmm. No.
They play the Panthers again November 28th. Okay.
Oh, it's coming up.
It's coming up.
Not bad.
Montreal, they don't play again until March. Figure that one out. I know. Panthers, November 28th. By that time, guys, what do you want to see from the Leafs? There are a lot of new players. I want to know what you specifically, one thing, Steve, Jesse, what you guys are looking for the next time they play the Panthers, because this is a rivalry.
A Leaf team you fear. Because right now they're locker fodder. Just stuff them right in.
Even for the coach. Jesse, what about you?
I'm gonna get a little more specific than that. I think it was Mike Johnson who mentioned it on the broadcast, but Matthews and Marner, Matthews in particular, but Marner as well, they're playing too much. Matthews is consistently leading the entire team in ice time, which probably should be done by
What's
your
the
number one
timing on that?
defenseman.
How much is he?
So Matthews right now, if you go through the first 4 games, it's 25, 20, 25, 23, which is ridiculous
lot.
amounts of ice time for your number one center. And actually, no, those are Marner's times.
That's a lot for
Let me
Marner.
get here, Matthews. There you go.
Well, Marner,
So Matthews is, so that was Marner. Matthews is 24, 19, 25, and 24.
Yeah.
So they're both in the 24 to 25 ice time range, and that's too much. And it's because right now Sheldon Keefe doesn't trust the bottom 6. You look at Minton and Gregor and Reeves and even Yarncroke and Camp. They're playing in and around 12 minutes, 10 minutes even. Like Reeves will hit 7 minutes, and Minton will be at 8. And he doesn't have a bottom 6 to play, so he's running out Matthews and Marner for 25 minutes a night,
And
and
you
I
know-
think that's crazy.
And he
you know
moved-
what I see? 8-5, 8-5.
The shots on goal.
Holy shit, he has 26 shots in 4 games.
Yeah, it's a little too much, and I hope that they figure out the bottom 6 of the forward group very soon, so these guys don't get run into the ground by the time the March rolls around and they play the Panthers again.
Yeah, I agree.
Minton played 8 minutes last night. They moved Nyes up to the second line to start the game.
Starting
Pretty
November.
good.
Because they wanted to make sure that he got more minutes. So to compare and contrast, so Nyes was supposed to be on the second line, although the lines went in the blender midway through the game.
Yeah. Because of Bertuzzi.
Matthews and Marner are like 25 minutes apiece. Nyes got 11. Now, Nyes is a good player who's played well. So Matthew Nyes needs, and that's on Keefe. Keefe needs to be able to get him out there.
Yeah, and he took that penalty, the interference penalty that I don't think was
That was
interference
trash.
because Rodriguez kind of just ran into him. So
ran into
it's
each other.
whatever, but I don't know if Keefe is punished him for that. You know, when a young guy takes a penalty and you're like, okay, you don't get as much time.
Horrible
but like,
call.
it was a bad call and it's ridiculous. And I think, you need to play these guys more, play the rest of your lineup more. I get like in the playoffs, this is how it should be. Like, why are we doing this on game 4?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, listen, there are going to be... The reason I emphasize the toughness thing so much is because that has nothing to do with it being early in the season. The stuff I am willing to be lenient on them for, like ice time and the structure being garbage, and it's early in the season. There's 2 new assistant coaches behind the bench.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of new personnel. Like, this might be a tough start to the season, man.
Yeah, but it is for everybody all the time. And like
Yeah,
I look at
yeah.
good teams, and we haven't talked about them, but we should hit on them at some point. The Vegas Golden Knights, coming off of a Stanley Cup, have the best start to a new season after Stanley Cup champions since the Oilers of the '80s, since one of the greatest teams of all time. You know, the Vegas Golden Knights, they came out and they're there to win, and they're keeping their crown. Like, they own the belt right now, and nobody's taking it from them.
Who's
And-
undefeated? It's them in Colorado, I think.
Yeah, because Colorado beat Chicago last
Yeah.
night, so yeah, they're
Even
still
though-
they're still undefeated.
Mrazek, he's hilarious. He's playing the best hockey possible for outside entertainment where he's facing 1 million shots a game. He's stopping 1 million shots a game, and he's nowhere near his net. He's so fun to watch.
Yeah.
We forgot Boston. Boston
Are they undefeated?
They're 3-0, so they haven't. They've played less games. Vegas played 5. They're 5-0. Colorado's played 4. They're 4-0. Boston is 3-0.
Hilarious.
And if you're not counting OT losses, but we should. Dallas is 2-0-1. You know.
We should.
But yeah,
We should. That's a defeat.
Leafs are playing the Lightning tomorrow.
Cool.
fun.
Fun.
I'm sure a pissed off Tampa Bay Lightning team that spent the entire offseason knowing they ended the Leaf streak is going to be easy to deal with.
Yeah. So what's
wrong?
I'm just
Well, like the schedule doesn't stop, you know.
no,
what I mean?
and this they made another good point last night. It's like the Leafs are somewhat slow starters. They always sort of have been. They're usually about 500 after the first 10 games. The problem is this year you got better teams in the division. Like no offense to Montreal because they've had injuries and all the other things.
They're better.
They are better. But like Buffalo has got to be a playoff contender. Ottawa's looking very, very good, and the vibes are good, and Josh Norris is back, and Tarasenko already has 2 goals. Detroit, I still don't fully understand what they're doing, but they're getting results.
Detroit's off to a hot start.
They are.
Like,
I didn't
fucking
understand.
Sprong is on fire.
Yeah.
Justin Hall got healthied.
Yeah, and then they won.
And then
How can you complain?
Right. Well, you can complain because why do we have this player who we healthied and won
Well,
4 years?
I don't think you're complaining when you win. Everything's looking
I think
rosy.
Red Wings fans might not like that deal, and they're right.
DeBrincat's got 5 goals. That's an interesting
Weird
point because
Weird.
Saturday Detroit goes to Ottawa, right? So it's the return of DeBrincat, and he's got 5 goals already.
Isn't it so weird that guy who scores goals all the time didn't forget how to do it?
No.
Why did everyone think that?
Well, he just didn't want to be in Ottawa.
He didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
And like I don't want to be playing behind this guy. Yeah, that's a number 1 right winger on basically any team in the league.
He's got his mojo
apparently he's
back.
going to get booed tomorrow. There's a.
By who?
Yeah, I don't know.
I think he's playing the Sens tomorrow, isn't he?
I just said
Like I said, by who?
Oh.
What?
Well, we will get to that.
the attendance.
We
number?
will. We are going to talk about that.
That's a
We
good
are
one.
going to talk about that. Hey guys, what platform does our SDPN merch run on?
I don't know. Jesse, do you know?
That would be Shopify.
Oh!
It is built on Shopify.
Now, why did you choose Shopify when you were building it?
It's the easiest e-commerce platform on the internet.
It is. Okay. Why?
Because of how easy it is to sell. Like it's made so like a person like me, who is just a guy who chats about sports all day, can fire up my laptop and build an entire website for us to sell merch on.
Well, and similarly, I have bought things off of it, and I enjoyed it. We are the same, you and I.
Yeah, you're as the consumer experience, you thumbs up it, right?
I thumbs up.
And that's because Shopify has made it so easy. I keep using the word easy, but that's what it really is. It's easy to build, easy to use. Everything's very easy.
Shopify powers all 10% of all e-commerce in the U.S. Shopify's global force behind they're behind huge brands, and it can be behind yours too.
Like
Here's the thing.
SDPN.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big, enormous. And here's the thing. You can impress your business partners like Jesse. See, here's the thing, Steve. When Jesse showed us the website and the fact that we could sell merch on it, we were like, whoa. And now here he is on the commercial going, oh, well, I mean, it was easy.
Yeah, they made me look smart.
None of this gosh gee Willikers nonsense, Jesse.
Shopify makes you look smart to your friends.
That's right. Sign up for $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/SDP, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/SDP, all lowercase, now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in. And we were right at the beginning, and it worked out really well for us. Shopify.com/SDP. If you need a nutritional foundation to your day, Jesse Blake, what do you recommend?
AG1.
Now, one of those things that it's one of those things that gives you the full vitamin support that you need throughout the day. A lot of people, when they take it, they kind of go, man, it's so much easier than like fumbling around with pills or finding the right vitamins. It's got sort of everything in it. And do you feel better after taking it?
100%. Yeah, it's so much better than like the gummy vitamins. Like you'll get the multivitamins.
Listen,
those things are so ridiculous.
They're fun, but they don't really have the effect.
No, it's not. I feel like it's not comparable. AG1's just so much better.
And heading into the holidays, it turns you green.
It's got a science-driven formulation of vitamins, probiotics, and whole food sourced nutrients. You might feel like the Hulk, but you won't look like it. And here's the thing. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/STP. That's drinkag1.com/STP. Check it out.
The underrated part of that is the vitamin D. At this point of the year where the sun is going down so early in Canada, it's like 6 p.m. and it's dark outside. The vitamin D is really important for you.
You know who a team that's more frustrating than the Leafs right now?
No one.
The Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, never mind.
Now, last night they put forward a nothing effort.
They weren't even the best orange team in the building.
Against the Philadelphia Flyers. Now, the Flyers are looking better. They're off to a good start.
As they were last year.
Remember,
they were like 6-2 or something crazy.
And remember, 10 games from now, we know what's going to happen. But
Wasn't it like 3 years ago they had a 10-game winning streak in November and missed the playoffs?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're...
That was the year 3 different teams had 10-game winning streaks.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah, I think it was a couple years ago. I don't think it was that recently.
Yeah, but I do remember that. 4-1. 4-1. And the thing about it is Jack Campbell was coming off a really great game.
Yeah. They're not scoring either.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Leafs didn't score. It's not helping things.
No.
You know, 2 goals in 2 games, you're not going to win much.
They so we're through 4 games. They still haven't won a game where Matthews didn't score a hat trick.
Bad stat.
We're still looking for it. Game 5. Here we go. Let's see if they can get it done in Game 5.
That's an awful.
They have 1 regulation win.
Mark Spector said, Jack Campbell, who earned this start off a marvelous 42 save night in Nashville, returned to making most of the saves he should make and none of the saves he shouldn't. For the 3rd night out of 4, the Oilers had the 2nd best goalie on the ice.
That is actually a pretty good way of describing the type of goalie who gets you through the regular season, and that's about it.
Can I play Jay Woodcroft post game? Because he's not the type to drop a bunch of F-bombs, but last night warranted it, and I think Jay Woodcroft in this manner is something to behold. Okay. So here's Jay Woodcroft post game after that effort.
Not to our standard. Yeah, certainly. Fucking not good enough. Excuse my language there.
It's been probably 4 games that you felt that way. You were certainly nobody was happy about the first game. I mean, that's half the season. I know it's early, but you feel like it's becoming a bit of a concern for you guys the way that you're competing.
You know what? I thought our game lacked urgency today. I thought, I didn't see second and third effort in all areas of the game from up and down our lineup. Not to our standard. As I said to Tony, we play towards a standard and it wasn't there for us tonight, and that's disappointing. It's going to have to get fixed quickly here.
So you can tell that he's not the type to just throw at F-bombs, but one slipped up because of that.
Yeah, he is like a Disney. He's a bit of a Disney coach in that way, right? Like he's adorable. Like you want to pinch his cheeks.
I'm going to say something a little unfair. The Oilers are my cup pick. Bad defense and all. When I think there are a lot of people's cup picks. When that is the standard, he keeps talking about the standard. This is the sort of play, bad goaltending or not, that gets coaches like him fired. I don't think he's a coach that should be fired.
No, I like him. I think he's a good coach.
I don't think the Oilers should be looking at it, but this is what happens. When good teams get off to disappointing starts, if that start creeps into November, December, coaches get fired.
I'm going to give you a name.
Give me a name.
Todd Richards. Tell me about Todd Richards.
He was a head coach in Columbus, and he lasted, I think, 8 games because Bobrovsky was unplayably bad.
And then what happened?
The Blue Jackets got good under John Tortorella. I think it was John Tortorella. Sorry, did I say they got good? I meant Bobrovsky learned to make a fucking save.
And he was great the rest of the way.
He was great.
Now, the reason I bring that up is I think that's an interesting point. And the Oilers like, again, 10 games from now, they could go 10-0 in the next,
Yeah.
And no one would bat an eye.
And listen, we're acknowledging that.
Yeah.
But I want to throw out there, I can't fucking stand, again, when people are like, well, just fucking whatever. Because I'll tell you, Jay Woodcroft is not saying, well, just fucking whatever. He's saying fuck. But he's not saying whatever.
He's not saying
it's
they
game
need a
4,
damn
and
save.
he's pissed like that.
Yeah, he's
As a
not saying
fan,
we
by the
need a
way,
save.
you're allowed to be that. No matter how many bums on Twitter tell you, "Oh, stop overreacting," you feel how you want to feel. Okay, you feel your feelings, and I think it's important to point out that the coach is just as steamed as you are. If I'm an Oiler fan this morning, I'm like, good, keep that man, because I'm seeing the same shit, and it's too bad because the Oilers are devastatingly talented.
When I covered the Marlies really early in my career, Greg Gilbert used to scare the shit out of me.
Why is that?
He was a terrifying coach, and he ran hot, especially after losses. And he there was a game where someone kept trying to fight Daryl Boyce on the Marlies, but Boyce had it was like a sprained hand or a broken hand or something, and so he was like, he's got a busted digit. Why the fuck would he fight? Sorry, why would he fight?
So,
but he had this terrifying glare about him that reporters quaked under.
I think it's interesting when star players are like, listen, we didn't do great. I think it's super interesting when depth players are saying it. Here's what Warren, and with respect to these players, they're good players, but they're not Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl.
Yes.
Warren Fogle, we simply got outworked. They wanted it more than us, and you can't win a game if you don't want it. We're not clean. We're not quick. When we're quick, we're dangerous, and we're not right now. We need everyone on the rope. Tonight we weren't. Here's another one. Derek Ryan. Like this? I just don't think we have enough urgency yet. I'd like to see us push back. When we get pushed up against it, it seems we just get a little deflated and we sit back. We're just not putting it together for a full period or a full game yet. Yep, disheartening. Derek Ryan.
Yeah.
I think that is important. I'm sure the Stars feel it. Like, I know Connor McDavid was pissed after game 1.
This sort of thing infects a team quickly. And again, they're my cup pick. This is not me saying the Edmonton Oilers are a bad team.
Steve hates them.
This attitude, this mentality, or this lack of confidence or frustration, whatever you want to call it, it infects teams like venom so quickly. I'm telling you, again, like you said, they could win 10 straight. No one would bat an eye. This is an ancient memory. But we went from Evander Kane basically laughing off losing the second game of the season to this is now game 4. They've only lost one more game since then. And these guys are really hot under the collar.
Yeah, well, and the coaches. Evander Kane, by the way, through 4 games, 1 assist, -5.
Yeah, he's been unable to get it going. And Connor Brown has a built-in excuse in that he hasn't played hockey in a year, but he hasn't been able to get it going either. Nuge hasn't looked the best. And for me, it starts with the effort on the back end. Like last night, Evan Bouchard was absolutely horrendous. And
which to go along with his 2 other horrendous performances against the Canucks.
Yeah, he hasn't been good. And like the entire defense is just so lackluster. And it was highlighted by there's a goal here. I'll show you guys. We can't show it on the screen. I'll pause it when we get a good a freeze frame. But there's a goal here. It's the 4-1 goal where Evan Bouchard is lazily coming back to his own end.
There he is. Yeah.
And then the puck goes right by him.
Oh, that's
and then
terrible.
he lets up halfway through the play.
That's
What?
awful.
He's
if you want to pull this up,
Evan
Maddie,
Bouchard, number 2.
and number 2, so Evan, the puck is not in the
Completely
net.
upright.
The puck is not in the net yet, and Evan Bouchard on the 4-1 goal decides to just stop skating. I think it's Cam Atkinson who scores this goal.
Yeah, he had
here.
2 last night.
Atkinson, who's the one who scores this one-on-one in front of Campbell, and Evan Bouchard decides to give up on the play as soon as Atkinson gets to the slot area, and he's literally, if we finish this video, he's just doing a quick stop there in the slot.
Who's the defense partner that's with him? It's usually Nurse, right?
I
Not sure who
can't
that
see
is.
the jersey.
Okay,
Don't
now-
look tall enough.
So, Steve, when you look at that picture, how does it make your back feel? Because I'm
Oh,
not
I
looking at
know.
Bouchard. Look at the awkward angle his defense partner is on trying to do anything.
Yeah, guys are
like
both-
that is like a.
They're just doing different bad things.
That's Bouchard's guy. Like, Cam Atkinson got in behind Bouchard at the blue line,
looks
and
painful.
Bouchard just decided to turn around and lazily skate back to the slot.
Your point about
Atkinson
letting
scored.
up makes sense because like you're gonna get beat sometimes. Like guys are gonna get around you. He's not even gonna be first to the rebound.
Put some effort in.
Dude, that's terrible.
Yeah, it was
really bad.
all around these little moments. That's what's hampering Edmonton on the back end. They don't
looks-
have it. And like this is you put on top of that nurse play that we watched behind the net where they're just fumbling the puck and it leads directly to a scoring chance. And then you get this where the skater's just going in behind Bouchard. It's not great right now, the effort level by the Edmonton Oilers.
Also, you'll have to take this off the screen, Maddie.
I'll show you guys the rest
How
of the
does he
play.
score that goal?
So it's a little dangle. Atkinson just beats Campbell. And look at him stop.
But is it through his legs?
That's so it is Ekholm out there with Bouchard.
Yeah, it was
That
Ekholm
is
on the other side. No.
Beer league.
Pause right there.
It's 5-hole, I believe.
So
Yeah.
go back to where we were a second ago when we did the freeze frame on TV. I want to bring it back up. Look at where I just want you to have a look at Jack Campbell's stance.
Look at Draisaitl too.
Yeah, Draisaitl's doing nothing on defense.
Dude.
But that's,
Who's at center?
Draisaitl's job is not to play
Oh
defense.
shit!
Who's that?
Who's at center ice?
Who's that?
I think
Is that McDavid?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I can check and see who everybody
Looks
was
like
on the ice for
Now
this goal.
let's pull
Maddie,
this,
if you give me
pull
a
it down again. Just keep going right there. Okay, we're back to the awkward stance.
Yeah.
Look at Jack Campbell's placement of his legs.
It's pretty far. Up.
That is listen, I understand needing to shift side to side. I watched Peter Mrazek play in Toronto. But that is the biggest 5-hole I've ever seen, and no wonder Cam Atkinson scored from the 5-hole. I remember that's why I asked you where it went.
Yeah, but
because you look at that.
I'm not a goalie. I'm not a goalie coach. I can't say. You must know more about goalie positioning than I do because I can't tell you if he's good or not.
He's got to prepare for. I think part of it is he has to prepare for every situation. Oh, he could snipe it now. He can go up. He can go down. He can go backhand. He can go forehand. He can do whatever the fuck he wants because no one is on him.
Yeah.
Instead, he curls it between your legs. If he has his legs a little closer together, he's got to be crouched. He's got to be prepared for that. But guys, he's too far. His legs are too far apart. There's no question.
I don't know.
I guess.
But
coaches, you tell me.
The thing I understand here in this play, and the thing I understand when watching hockey is effort level. Like I feel like that's just so easy to identify is when you see a guy trying when he gets beat to get back and make up for his mistake, and it's not there with the defense.
Right.
I guess you're figuring. Okay, I'll force him to shoot 5-hole. I
Yeah.
don't know. Like at some point, you gotta take a pick at what the fuck you're gonna do. Because he can do what
one-on-one.
That's Jesse, thank you for highlighting that. That's a miserable play. Miserable.
Now,
play.
most goals do happen on miserable plays. But it's
not
part of a
that.
bigger problem
Yes.
with the Oilers, which is there's too many miserable plays.
Yeah, no. I mean, not that McDavid and Draisaitl would have made a difference, but like
Well, somebody's got to get the rebound.
they're doing fuck all.
And-
back there, Ekholm, I know, is coming off an injury. Bouchard is just having a public skate. That's bad. That's bad.
He's down at Nathan Phillips doing laps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doing
turn
a glide.
Turning right.
Rented skates.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bad.
He can't go like even 40% speed because there's just a bunch of kids being maniacs out there.
little push things so
Yeah.
they can stay on.
Something to keep on your radar is Pierre-Olivier Joseph in Pittsburgh. They're 2-2, and they got really beat up, I think, by the Red Wings. I think they got doubled up by the Red Wings. They're not happy with their start either. And I think he is going to be sitting the next game. I don't know who comes in for him. But yeah, they had a really good game against the Flames last Saturday, and then Wednesday, 6-3 Red Wings win.
No, you're burying the lead. You're burying the lead. You guys were right about the player whose name I already forget. Karel Plasik. Dubas was
bought out.
freeing up a contract spot.
Yeah,
You were right.
It's a Dubas trade.
He because
That trade, yeah.
it was 2 for 2, and then Plasik was on unconditional waivers for a buyout. Or no,
purpose of contract termination.
No,
Yeah.
buyout. There would have been a cap penalty, but
Mm-hmm.
no, it's contract termination. So that I guess he can do whatever he wants now. He's obviously not. He's not going to play with the Penguins organization anymore.
No, it was just funny that the only time in our lives we'll have a Carol Plashik conversation. We have it, and then the next, they're like, no, that afternoon we find out he's getting bought out.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we gotta have it again.
Well, like I told
Carol
you,
Plashik on our show again.
49 contracts out of 50 were signed. Now they have a couple contract slots. This is Hallmark Dubas.
Yep.
Right to the limit.
Bad habits are hard to break.
He traded for a guy specifically just to terminate him and get a contract slot.
Which makes you
Unbelievable.
wonder why the Canucks didn't just do that too, because they're pretty high up against it.
I think they wanted bodies, right? They wanted the two guys back.
Well, they got Mark Friedman, who was in their lineup last
Yeah, and fought and lost, but fought.
got his ass kicked. But no, I mean, yeah,
Oh,
the Canucks, the Penguins get to free up a contract slot. The Canucks get actual help on their NHL roster, which probably trumps that.
Yeah, and they look good. Like, they fought hard. Yeah, they lost last night,
Yeah.
but it was a good effort.
At least the
Not gonna
coach
win
praised them. He said we lost, but I felt like the effort was better. So that's
Yeah.
good.
Well, I mean, you can't, not every game can be the end of the world.
I think that, well, agreed. I think the effort's got to be there, though, right? Pittsburgh is one, though, switching back to them, they're one of the most fascinating teams in the league for me, because this feels like something that could go extremely right and something that could go extremely wrong. And it's sort of a pretty thin line between both.
Yeah, where's it leaning?
Well, right now it's kind of even. It's 2-2.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, listen, they didn't take advantage of. They didn't have Justin Hall to take advantage of. The Red Wings took it to them. They're playing the Blues tomorrow. They're playing the Stars Tuesday. So we'll see. They're doing, I guess.
Is
the Western
Letang
Conference.
out? Like, he was injured, right?
I mean, what season is this?
Oh, Adam.
Come on, guys. He's
all of them. He misses a lot
He
of
misses a lot of time.
I mean, he's a
is
a
an-
Penguin. They miss a
'cause
lot of time.
He didn't practice yesterday, and during the game versus Detroit, he got a lower body injury. But I don't think there's been an update from any of the Pittsburgh writers on if he's going to miss any time, right? But I know he has a slight injury. I'm just curious. If he misses time, that sucks.
that does suck.
But
That guy's always dealing with.
You kind of, if you have,
you
him
have
on-
Erik Karlsson.
yeah, and if you have him on the roster, you kind of have to prepare for that with Letang.
Well, and ironically, you know who they probably would have replaced him in the lineup with? Mark Friedman,
Oh,
who's not there anymore. But they did get Jack Rathbone, so maybe he gets in.
maybe we'll see. Now, the big story, kind of when we were talking last episode, was the draft decentralization, which is another way of of saying, do we want the draft to be entertaining or not?
Yeah, boo.
Now, I don't know why anybody would boo this, unless, like, if you've been to a draft and you had fun at the parties, that's nice for you. But for everybody else who is watching at home,
Purely selfish reasons.
snore. It's not, the entertainment product isn't good enough, and you could make a ton of money. And here's what the NHL is here for: to make money. So what they did was they sent out a memo yesterday to all 32 presidents of every single organization and said, you each get one vote. Your organization gets one vote. Are we doing this or are we not doing this? We need to know now.
I do like that.
Oh, I love that they're not dragging this out till the GM meetings in Florida in like March.
Now, there is the possibility that it goes 16-16.
Wow.
Well, then Gary goes, here's what I want.
Yeah, and like, depending on how this vote goes, Gary might just be like, I'm doing what I want anyways.
Yeah.
It seems like that's what they want.
Because
isn't
the
it?
collection of owners who he talks to might want a certain thing. So even if it's like 20 to like the rest of them, 20 to 12.
Should have asked 8 owners.
Yeah, even if it's 20 to 12, if the right 12 people are on Gary's side, he might just make a decision.
100%.
And the vote, by the way, is finished on Tuesday. So everybody has Tuesday of next week to hand in their piece of paper.
And here's the thing. Why have a vote? Why would Gary have a vote if he didn't want it? Because I don't think Gary Bettman has ever allowed something he didn't want to happen. Ever. When you look at any policy change in the NHL, has Gary been like, you know what, I don't agree with it, but that's the people have spoken? Never.
Absolutely never.
Absolutely not. So this is something, and I'm encouraged by this, that the NHL wants to do, at least at the head office. And I've been saying it for years because I personally believe you got to make the the product more entertaining. I understand it's classy and funny when 32 different general managers and all of their entourage get up on stage and there's like 25 people and some rich guy's kid get up and announce who they're drafting, and then we got to watch the kid walk across and down the stage and whatever, and listen to the announcers fill
I think
time,
it's funny
and then
when
we
they
got to
chase
take a
each
picture,
other.
put the hat on. Like, it's so much time wasted. The product could be incredible. And I love, when I watch the NBA draft and the NFL draft, I love watching some of the players stay home. I love watching the cameras in their house. I think that's hilarious. I also love like the war room thing. Whenever they do those war room interviews, it's like, or there's a guy, and think about this. You have all the guys who are supposed to go in the first round, and they're backstage, and one of them falls.
It's
a Shane Wright
terrible
situation.
It's terrible for them.
Oh, I thought you meant like falls, like
No,
injured. I was
falls
like,
in the draft order, not
Adam
physically
loves
falls.
a good pratfall. Who was that?
I'm following now.
There was a senator who like fell down the stairs coming off the plane. Adam sent me that 50 times.
Imagine they had a camera on Shane Wright when he fell 4 positions, like a real camera on him close up.
Yeah,
They did.
He waited till he was on stage.
but
They,
like,
they literally
but it was
did.
like
We
him in the
watched
crowd.
it.
It was in the crowd. It was like this. It was like
No,
a
they
telescope.
literally did have a camera on him, and that's when he did the thing to the argument against what you're talking about. The Shane Wright moment where he looks at the Montreal table. Like that, we don't get that moment unless it all happens in person.
Okay, what other great moments from the last 2 drafts do we remember?
So the argument against what the decentralization of the draft is that there's really no event like the draft in terms of hockey and everybody getting together in a collective group.
Okay.
And I think that's really cool for fans and media and personnel alike. I think there's an opportunity to see people face to face, and these other leagues don't have that. So the NBA kind of has summer league where that kind of goes on, which is really cool. And they expanded summer league to include something called NBA Con, where they had a whole bunch of NBA stuff for fans. So you can go and you can enjoy all that stuff. But I think it's a unique thing to hockey, and I don't know if it's necessarily good for the sport to just go in the direction blindly of these other leagues right now, because this is a cool thing for fans that they can go to, and for media that they can go to.
The fans can still go. The media can still go.
No, but they won't though.
Yes, they will. They go for the NFL and they go for the NBA.
No, they not as much as it is right now, where everybody is like, you can walk down the street and you'll see Bill Daly there, and you'll see all the presidents and stuff, and like that added aspect to it, I think is a pretty cool.
I don't think.
thing.
Here's the thing. All that's true. It's also the lowest rated.
Yeah, but it's lowest rated out of all the sports.
100%. But it's so low rated, like it's almost not watched at all in the States. In Canada, it's watched, but not that much. Guys, we got to take our opportunities. And listen, if you want to still bring all the teams together, I'm all for that. But this whole thing about every goddamn general manager getting up out of his seat, bringing 40 of his pals with them, and bringing their kid and making jokes about whatever, and like I've fucking had it. Shorten this thing, get through it, have some fun, make it move.
Okay, I think
all the teams there, great, love that.
Those are two different arguments then. Like you're talking about changing the TV product and making it quicker and faster.
Yes.
And I'm just talking about flying everybody in and having a big event where all hockey media and personnel and everybody who's important is in one city at one time.
And that's cool.
Like if you think we should still do that, then like I'm game, and we just change the TV product. That's cool. Like I don't think all the guys need to be up on stage either.
So it's funny. I was actually thinking about the walk-up and how much time you could save by just eliminating the walk-up. I think if it's 30 seconds for the walk-up, you save 15 minutes roughly.
That's why they do it in a theater in the NFL and NBA,
or 16 minutes
because it's behind, or they're behind the curtain.
Yeah, but I think that's probably conservative. It's probably closer to a minute. So you're saving like half an hour. How about they just make, if you were to have it in person, just have them make the pick from their table.
Yeah, like why don't we
on
just
day
not
2.
have we can do the same thing, just not have the guys walk up on the stage if that's the issue. If that fixes like the ratings of the draft, we think it's just making it a little more compelling where the guys don't walk up on stage. Just don't have them walk up on stage.
How about
Then
some
you
fireworks
get
and confetti? Like, let's make a show of this.
Then you get the cool visual of the prospect walking to the table and literally walking past teams that passed on them.
Oh, I like that. That's cool.
I like that. Now, another like hugely concerning thing. I know we're partially going off of the 32 Thoughts discussion about this.
I haven't heard it, so we're not.
Okay. Well, I think Jesse was.
I heard a large majority of it this morning.
I only know that because he was talking about NBA.
Yeah, they mentioned the
NHL
NBA con thing. It was a very great idea.
It's a cool idea. Another part of the issue here is the draft is too late. It's scheduled for June 28th, 29th.
Oh my God.
In a market where you can't use their building because of UFC event. Great job, guys. Great job, everyone involved.
So they can't use the building because of UFC?
Yeah, so the NHL draft isn't confirmed for Vegas, but that is the most likely location. There's also Montreal. Going back to Montreal again is on
That'd be
the
great,
table.
too.
And right now, if they want to do end of June, they might have to do it somewhere else, more creative, which I think is a good idea. But because T-Mobile, the first right of refusal for any event is given to UFC. So if UFC wants to hold a late June event and they need that week where it's the Thursday, Friday, then the NHL can't do it. But on the table for other locations, the greatest thing that's ever been created by mankind, the Sphere.
Would be amazing.
So there's discussion
That
about
would be amazing.
them doing it in the Sphere. So if they go a decentralization route where they don't need a whole floor and everything, you have the draft in the Sphere.
Do it there every year. Why do we move it around? Just do it there. Do it in Vegas.
Now, sorry, the other thing I was going to get to. So it's too late, but part of the reason it's too late is they don't want to start the NHL season too early. Why?
I don't know.
They want as few weeks as possible to compete with the NFL. And also another thing Freege brought up where I was just like, holy fuck, like we don't even cover a sport is so attendance numbers are bad.
We are getting to that next, by the way.
Part of that is the economy. We can't ignore that. The other is they don't want to compete with the NFL. They don't want to compete with college football. And they don't want to compete with, in some markets, high school football.
I can see that. High school football is intense.
Yeah, but God, you're fucking irrelevant.
Here's my problem.
On the North American stage, you're completely irrelevant.
It's a sports league that doesn't, here's the key, doesn't want to compete. Are you kidding me?
Oh, I know.
So,
But you don't put a game on during the Super Bowl. Like that's
fair.
Like if you're building TV schedules, you don't put your game on during the Super Bowl.
Well,
you start a little later in September because football starts first week of September. So the more you delay it, the more weeks you get without the number one TV sport. Like if you go up against football, you're gonna lose. So why fight that battle when you can have a window where you're not competing against that and gain more of an audience?
Well, they should just run and hide. They should just play the whole thing in the summer. Like, I don't know. Like, at what point are you trying to be the best?
The NBA does this as well, and I don't see anybody screaming about it.
It's because they are the best.
The NBA, no, they're not. Football is. That's why they don't want to compete with football. Like, there's a reason football is number one. The NBA schedules their content around not being on during football.
But what are we talking about here? We're talking about NBA versus NFL, and we're talking about NHL versus high school football.
NBA does totally fine.
And NBA is like they're competing with the NFL. We're talking about NHL with high school football. There's a different level, right? Mm-hmm. And that's that. I agree with you. You've got to finesse the schedule. You got to move things around. There are cultural events. The Super Bowl is one of them. But I think the NHL has conceded so much ground in the last 20 years in terms of popularity. The NHL has conceded so much ground in terms of where they were at and where they are now. The fact that Pat McAfee has to have a conversation on his show. Jesse pointed this out perfectly. It's called Hockey is Awesome because they're literally reintroducing it.
Steve.
I think it was me.
Yeah.
But
okay, whatever.
You're having a novelty, isn't this cute conversation.
Mm-hmm.
This is fun. You should check it out. Like
to reteach the sport to people.
100%. So I think at the end of the day, that's why I'm so passionate about the draft thing. And it really, I like people coming together. I like it just as much as anybody. I get to go. It's awesome. But the television product is trash. It's terrible. There's nobody who can rightly tell me that that's a well-produced television program. It's not. And so whatever it is that they decide, to me, if it's in the Sphere, that means that they're going to have to make it entertaining, right? They're going to have that big background. It'll be cool. It's in Vegas, whatever.
On the Sphere.
Let's create some excitement because these kids are the future. Mm-hmm. Every year, it's hope, it's excitement. Every record is set back to 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. We're talking about our future. Oh my God, our guy's going to be the guy. And I want to get fans in there, and I want them cheering when they like the pick, booing when they don't. Like that's what it needs to be. It needs to feel like a real event in the NHL. Right now, it just kind of feels like a business conference.
I'm fascinated by how the vote turns out and also for the votes to come out.
I don't know if we'll get that.
We're going to get some of them. There's 32. You don't think any of them are going to leave?
A couple, maybe. I don't know. That's very interesting. I would love to know, but I don't know. It's a big secret they got to keep.
The Winnipeg Jets
It'll leak.
and Buffalo Sabres are among teams that are struggling with attendance. Now, the Jets were a perennial sellout. When they got back into the league, whatever. Now, the other day, they had 11,220 something.
That's bad.
And
it's not close.
And it's an arena that already only fits 15,000.
Yeah.
And I found one comment funny because there's been a lot of like, well, if this doesn't improve, is it sustainable in Winnipeg? Meanwhile, the Coyotes,
they're still getting more than double.
yeah, no, they're getting 3 times
Nearly
what the
triple.
Coyotes could
Yeah.
ever fit.
Yeah.
And people are like, I don't know if it's sustainable. It's sustainable in Winnipeg. I just don't know if it's possible. And meanwhile, the Coyotes have 3,500 people. I'm like, come on, it's sustainable.
Right.
Well, they have a building. We'll start there.
Amongst those teams, though, you should also throw in the Washington Capitals amongst teams struggling with attendance. The Washington
Really?
Capitals had a sellout streak of 588 consecutive games at home that they sold out the Verizon Center.
Yes.
And it ended on Monday night versus the Calgary Flames. So it was the first time so that's since March 5th, 2009 was the last time, or the first time they sold it out until the end of this streak.
That's nuts.
The team they played that night, the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Of course.
Who they lost to, which is
That's
Leafs
rare.
are finally on the good side of a history number. They lost to the Leafs
Caps.
2-1 on that day, March 5th, 2009. Can Steve tell me who played on that team?
March 5th, 2009. Was Vesatoskala in net for the Leafs?
I have no idea.
Look that game up, damn it.
All right, give me a second.
March 5th, 2000.
No, it's going to be like Ben Scrivens or something.
I got the box score.
No, Ben Scrivens wasn't around yet.
All right.
I'm going to say Toskala in net.
Who was their backup?
Where's the goalies?
They wouldn't have played their backup against Ovi, but still, who was their
Was
backup?
this the
It wouldn't have been Raycroft, right?
Toskala monster year? Oh, late season 2000. No, I was going to say Martin Gerber. I think it was Vesatoskala in net. And for the Capitals, it honestly might have been Cristobal Huet.
Who do you got there, Jesse?
It's not telling me the goaltenders on the box score.
That is bizarre.
Box score, recap.
Oh, the ESPN, don't even bother.
Yeah, but it's the easiest. Oh, Vesatoskala, well done.
Hey!
Wow.
Yeah, picked up on the same day. Vesatoskala. Now, oh no, wait, Gerber.
No, it was Gerber.
Oh, it was Gerber.
Martin Gerber demoted. Toskala for sure. Be Toskala replaced. He had. I don't know who was in net. I'm not going to read.
Jesus
through all
Christ.
this. I have no idea.
Type in the date, the teams, and hockeyreference.com.
Yeah, that was the first one I pulled up was the ESPN box score.
No, ESPN is.
So I'll just. Yeah, you don't have to get upset.
No,
they
there's-
literally did that. And
Sorry.
I picked
Is
the
it-
ESPN.
Hey, Jesse.
I'm very
Jesse,
picky.
calm
You ever
down.
Googled something, Jesse?
I'm
God
very
damn.
picky about these sites because of trade trees.
Yeah. Okay. So Martin Gerber was in net for the Leafs.
Cool.
Darth
And
Gerber.
Jose Theodore was in net for
Oh.
the Leafs.
Theodore.
Now, there's a name.
Sorry about that, Steve.
There's a
Who
name.
scored the goals? I have to know or I can't move on.
Pavel Kubina,
Let's go.
Lee Stepniak,
Let's go.
and Alexander Semin.
Alex Semin.
Michael Nylander played in that game.
Crazy.
Wow.
All right, Adam, your thing you're talking about.
Well, so
sorry.
I saw Bar Down. I think it was Jesse from Bar Down posted like, we got to get back in the arena,
Yeah.
and every comment to a person, and this isn't a shot at Jesse. It's just this is what the comment is. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
And you know, I can sympathize with that. I think that the interest rates going up as quickly as they have, you know, whether or not you agree with that or not, I'm not getting into economic public policy and Trudeau and the rest of the world and inflation.
Let's start every conversation from the beginning. I
Yeah,
think that's the way to do it.
The reality of this situation is that people's extra cash is just not there. And, you know, you might be able to afford to take your family out for dinner, but can you afford a hockey game? And hockey games are just not cheap, man.
They always use family of four. Like, let's say your tickets are conservatively $60 each.
The cheapest ticket right now to get in Saturday against the Edmonton Oilers, the Hockey Night in Canada, is $110.
Like,
So that's a $500 with all your fees, right? Ticketmaster charges $8 million.
That's with fees included.
Oh, that's with fees. Okay.
Yeah, it's 94 plus 16.92 with
and
fees.
then is that with taxes?
Including taxes, yeah.
Okay.
So it's
100, 110.91.
So you're a $500 night.
yeah.
Who can just do that?
if you like, I don't know, split M&Ms.
And that's the last row in the house, you know?
Oh, like who can just drop 500? How many people do you know that can just do that?
Yeah, or even like
Especially right now.
going to a game with like a buddy. Well, like okay, let's narrow it down to an individual. You're talking about like $150 for an evening. That's hard. It's hard for people. And also, like when you go to an event, it's also like a little bit of a gamble. Because what if the game stinks? You go to the bar, you hang out with your buddy, you're going to love it every time, pretty much. Or, a restaurant or whatever. You go to a game, like, I'll never forget, I'll never forgive the Tampa Bay Lightning. My wife got me Leaf tickets for my birthday. And I went to a birthday Leaf game, which I think is the only time in my life I've ever been to a Leaf game on my birthday. They lost 6-1.
Oh.
They got killed.
Oh. That sucks.
They got completely killed.
That was in Edmonton, by the way, at Rogers Place.
Oh.
The cheapest ticket in Winnipeg, $43.75.
Okay, so that's
A little more doable.
That's the
doable.
300s,
That's
row
300.
11, $43.
Okay.
Still looking at like roughly a $200, $250 night for a family of 4.
Yeah. I wondered, I wonder too, this has been used as the excuse for, and I don't know why it's been used as the excuse. There's a lot of us that thought maybe the Jets should rebuild. This is an opportunity for them to retool even. Trade Hellebuck and Scheifele for assets, be bad for a year or two, and then come roaring back with the next core. And instead, what they did was they doubled down on Hellebuck and Scheifele, and I think there's some wisdom in that too, right?
Yeah,
But-
I mean, they picked a lane.
Yeah, they picked a lane, which is good.
Yeah.
The problem for me is that from a sales perspective, really what you sell in sports is hope, right? You're selling, like, you getting tickets to the Leafs on your birthday. You hoped they would win. That's what sold you on going. You hoped you would go down and have a great time and win and maybe have a few drinks and then come back on the GO train and be thrilled about it.
And I
right?
had reason to believe they would win and reason to believe that it would be an entertaining game.
Jets fans are really smart. They're very educated hockey people. Do the Jets have an outside shot of going on a run a la Montreal and Florida? Absolutely. Absolutely. You got Connor Hellebuck in net. Look at what happened with Montreal and Carey Price. Look at what happened with Florida and Bobrovsky. Absolutely.
Sure.
But are they going to be, with this group and this core, a perennial Stanley Cup thing the way they were in 2017?
I don't think so.
And I don't think Jets fans think so. No. They're grateful that Hellebuck's sticking around. They're grateful that Scheifele's sticking around. But like with a whole bunch of other stuff happening in the world and interest rates, like, and a team that you're like, I know that they'll probably make the playoffs, but then they're stuck against Vegas again. I feel like Winnipeg Jets fans are smart enough and would be on board, I think, to accept a rebuild. But I think that the lane that they've picked has kind of put people in the, okay, so we know what they are. I'm not upset about it, but I'm also not like,
they're mid.
I'm not doing it. They're mid.
They're mid. They're the opposite of a team you should be excited for.
Yeah, but in the situation where you got to sell tickets.
But I feel like you can sell tickets based on hope. Remember when we went to that Leafs game, Jesse?
The Leafs-Islanders game.
Yeah, with Tavares on the
Where
Islanders.
no one was in the building.
Right, because the Leafs were trash.
Yeah.
And they hadn't decided to be trash. They were trash against their will. Remember?
Uh-huh.
That was the Horacek year, right?
Yeah.
It was terrible. Terrible.
Well, they decided to be trash mid-season.
Right.
I don't know if there's a difference between you decide to be trash and you are trash in terms of ticket sales. Like, I think if you decide to be trash and you get to game 64 and it's in Winnipeg on a Tuesday against the Flyers and there's 8,000 people in the crowd.
Well, like the 2008-2009, I went to a game early in the season, and I did not go to watch the Leafs. I went to watch the Luke Schens play.
Right.
Because we were sold on, listen, this team's bad. But they have this 5th overall pick named Luke Schenn. So let's all go watch him. And it's like you could have gone to the bathroom in between his shifts.
But are there 16,000 of you to fill out the stadium in
Good
Winnipeg?
question.
And I think there's a difference between building a team to sell tickets and like doing the right thing in your organization. I think the right thing to do is to rebuild, but there's also a business side to it, which is so unfortunate that you can't just try and build the best team at all times possible because you also have to think about the finance.
The Leafs started selling out again after Mike Babcock arrived. And that team was garbage. But they sold out all those games that year when they finished
they?
last. I'm almost positive.
But I feel like they're not the same. Like there's apples to oranges.
I guess.
Toronto
Different
versus
market.
Winnipeg. You know.
Yeah,
And-
you're taking
and-
But
in
my
an-
point
in
is
an
they sold us on
enormous
hope.
market.
yeah.
What hope are the Jets selling?
Right. I'd like what year is that? 20 what?
16?
16. I guarantee
16?
those tickets that year are still more expensive than the tickets right now in Winnipeg.
Oh,
because it's
100%,
Toronto,
probably.
and you can charge that. You know, I think
Yep.
it's a different market, and it's suck if they go through a rebuild and nobody shows up through parts of those years, and the franchise is really struggling to make a dollar.
And what
But
about
also
what about the Caps?
there's billionaires behind this whole thing.
Yes.
who can float this team if you want to go through a rebuild. That's why it's like you look at, okay, they're trying to make money. They want a team that's middling so that they can always make money, but if you can't always make money on your assets, sometimes you need to take a hit so that you can make money down the road. And hey, suck it up if you want a good team.
Well, this is the thing. They've kind of committed to being mid, and they're losing money anyway. Yeah. So
maybe you suck it up,
they
you take
should have
the
just
hit.
pulled the shoot. Yeah. It's tough, man. It's
So-
tough. And like the people, I don't
okay.
fucking
So-
give a shit about the people at True North. I give a shit
Right.
about
Yeah, because David Thompson, I just
people who
looked it
can't
up.
afford to go to the games.
Yeah.
David Thompson of Thomson Reuters, the news agency, is 65.
That's
He's
who
the,
it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
David Thompson, and his father, I think, was the founder of it, owned some newspapers and stuff like that. 23rd richest person in the world.
Yeah.
So when you hear people, tell you, "Oh, I don't know if hockey's sustainable in Winnipeg if 11,000 people show
It's
up,"
okay.
I think they're going to be fine. But I am curious about Washington. I am curious about Buffalo. Canada is just a more expensive place to live. Period. End of story. Higher taxes. Things are more expensive up here. Whatever. I can understand, I guess, the Washington Capitals because they're a mid team in a mid division and they haven't picked a lane.
San Jose's doing poorly.
Well, that makes sense. What about Buffalo? Young, exciting, up and coming. They can sell hope. And is it the economy?
It has to be.
Because that's a great team. That's exciting.
Great team. It's also like Buffalo is a really underratedly tiny market
Yes.
in the NHL. Like per capita, they do crazy numbers. Like in terms,
Aren't they like one of the top 5 TV markets locally?
in the States? It's crazy. It's crazy.
Nuts.
For hockey,
Pittsburgh too.
yeah.
Yeah, but
Small.
they're a tiny market in an enormous state. I don't know what the surrounding area of Buffalo is. I imagine it's decently big, but in terms of Buffalo proper, it's small.
Yeah.
Small, and maybe people aren't completely broke, but kind of contradicting myself from earlier. You have money to go to one sports game this month. You go into the Sabres or Bills?
Well, this month you're going to the Bills.
You're going to the Bills.
I also think, it's weird with ticketing in the NHL. We were talking about them adjusting to other sports. A lot of other sports, the NBA and the NFL would never adjust their tickets prices no matter what the economy is. But I think Major League Baseball would. And I am surprised at the NHL owners on the whole holding tight to the prices despite what's going on. People's buying potential is down
Yep.
hugely.
Across
If
the
you
board.
have a variable mortgage, you could have seen your payments double in the last year. It's it's just insane, like how much money is just not available anymore. No one's lending it.
That stresses me out, man.
100%. That's what I'm saying, right? So
Even hearing you talk about it, I'm like,
oh yeah, it's a
that's
serious.
that's my Halloween.
It's a serious thing, and so I wonder if.
On Halloween, I'm gonna watch The Big Short.
Like, it would be really nice to see NHL teams, and I know that they don't want to do this. They never like giving out free tickets. They don't like. It'd be nice to see them adjust to the times a little bit. Like, you know what? You're the 23rd richest family in the world, and Mark Chipman, by the way, is one of the top 50 richest Canadians too. Thompson, Chipman, owners, right? They're the owners of the Jets. I know in Toronto they don't have to because there's just too many people. But we've seen games not sell out. But I don't think that they need to. It would be nice if certain markets just said, you know what? What if we shaved 5 or 10%? And what's 5 or 10% on $50?
Get people in the building. For God's sake.
5% on $50 is $2.50. Like, or we'll pay the tax. I don't know.
Well, and like, what's the difference when 4,000 people don't go to a game on the local businesses?
Oh, it's
Well,
huge.
Dude, it's
all the pubs that are around. And,
Yeah.
bad. It's
Yeah.
real bad.
Yep. Absolutely. So
Yeah, I don't know if the being mid thing about, hey, we're being mid, so we got a couple playoff dates and all that stuff, that the argument loses steam once you take into account that they're billionaires behind this, and this is their little toy thing. And if they don't make a couple extra $1 million on the franchise that year, it's not that big of a deal, and we shouldn't be poking watch it billionaires for the sake of ticket sales.
Agreed. Especially when the league is recording record profits too. Like they are record profits.
I do think sometimes like people who cover sports overthink it. You know,
Yeah.
people don't have money right now.
Yeah.
I think it's
So it'd be
That's
good if
simple.
the owners would say, you know what? Here's an olive branch to the local community, especially a team like the Jets that are a hyper local team.
I would not. To the Jets' credit, I wouldn't be shocked to see them do that.
I wouldn't either, because they can continue doing this. It'll just become a bigger story.
Yep. And who wants that?
Wayne Gretzky in Northland, which was his original hockey stick maker, speaking of adjusting prices, are partnering up to help make hockey more affordable across North America. We talked about Swift Hockey being funded on Dragon's Den. Finally, somebody's fucking doing this. Northland will be selling a 3-pack of sticks starting at $99,
Oh, wow.
So like 30-ish bucks or $33 a stick.
which is
Oh, 99.
it's Wayne Gretzky. And people are like, what do you need 3 sticks for? It's not for you and your bum ass team in rec league. It's for people who have children, have multiple kids in leagues, and they go through 2 to 3 sticks a year.
Yeah, and you could buy a bunch of those packs as a team and save a ton of money.
I love that. I love the Twitter comments. I wouldn't need that. Nobody fucking asked, man.
It's
Like nobody asked you. Nobody.
why
asked.
did he call it X when me was right there? Could have just called it meh.
just be like, hey, that's really cool of Wayne.
Hey, neat idea.
Yeah,
I would have called it hey, neat idea.
And I wondered, the one thing I didn't know, because this is a Bleacher Report thing, so there's no link to an article on it. I wish there was. But I don't know if Northland's making wooden sticks.
Yeah, they're
or
wooden sticks.
They are wooden.
I'm on the page right now.
Yeah, bring back the wooden stick, baby. Let's
Northland, Wayne Gretzky signature series sticks. The
Love.
Northland.
And they're
Yeah, it's
classic looking.
Christian is the company they're making them. Yeah, $109 for the senior ones. You get three sticks for.
go. That's the youth and junior price is $99 for
Is $99,
$109 for us old guys.
I think this is going to be big in Canada in particular over the next few years. These affordable hockey companies, because again, I think we overthink it. It's money, and it's killing the sport. The people who can afford it will obviously continue to play, and they'll go to the ridiculous camps. And I heard of a youth hockey coach making $1 million recently.
Wow.
Yeah, like there's a crazy amount of money at the top. But in terms of the sport in general, the price of equipment is killing it.
Yes.
Killing it.
Well,
People
and-
can't afford it.
And you can do the Walmart model, which is a low cost or low profit margin per item, but you scale it. So you're the like, if Northland, I think what they're going for here is, we hope a bunch of people buy this, so it makes it profitable over time when you have more buyers.
Right.
Like CCM and Bauer can be the elite brands. We want to be the brands that for everybody. And my kid's in house league, and they're not going to play super competitive hockey. And even if they do, we can't really afford it. So
Here you go.
here you go.
Yeah, 3 sticks is great for
Great.
$100. You know, they're multiply Baltic birch shaft.
Yeah.
they're wood there, and they're white ash with torsional stiffening fiberglass blade reinforcement for improved shot control on the blade.
That's a very.
I don't know what any
that's
of that means.
Very sexual.
Yes, but they look decent. You know,
They look like Gretzky sticks from the 80s.
Yeah,
too.
they're
That's
fun.
badass. That looks
Yeah.
cool.
fun little sticks.
I love it.
That's cool. Yeah, anything to get people playing hockey.
Yeah, exactly. And like, there's a huge roadblock for a lot of people.
Equipment.
I mean, starts with sticks. Get a stick in people's hands. Like, skates are insane.
Yeah.
Gloves are insane. Like, even if you get like a cheap version of all the equipment, it's all like $30. Like, shoulder pads, $30. Gloves, $30.
Yep.
Pants, $30.
Yep.
And like, all right, we're already up to nearly $100. And you go helmet, $30. I think that would be a cheap helmet.
That'd be the cheapest helmet on the block.
Now you're up to $120, and then you get a stick. There's $30. So now we're up to $150. And if you could
Registration, $500.
Well, yeah,
and that money goes to Hockey Canada, and they're going to take great care of it.
Yeah, absolutely, Adam. And here's all the places we're going to put it.
All the different bank accounts you can't find.
Yeah, haven't even talked about like shin pads, elbow pads, skates. Registration is probably the biggest killer out of all of them.
Oh yeah. I mean, when I was growing up, and I'm 35, so I'm not that old. It was $200.
Whatever, old man.
Pretty old.
Sorry, how much was it?
$200, and that was when minimum wage was less than $5 an hour.
I don't think my parents paid $200 for soccer.
Yeah, no, because hockey's more expensive, right?
No, we played at the high school field down the street. That's why I did it.
Couple things from their FAQ section. If you order more sticks, it gets cheaper. So the more sticks you order, the cost is reduced. Can I put my name on my sticks? All sticks purchased at christianhockey.com come with your name printed in the name bar.
That's awesome.
At the time of ordering, there's a box for you to fill in your name and jersey number.
Excellent.
And then they're asking, how is my shipping charge calculated? New. All shipping, it's free shipping on all orders. How much is shipping? Free. How can I get free shipping? There's now free shipping on all orders.
How can we partner with these
giant hockey stick and it's free shipping? Usually that's where you pay for it most, because I'll do like the pro hockey stock, and like, they'll be like decently priced for a pro stick.
Yeah.
And where you get hit is when they got to ship it to you, because this giant thing that's got to go in a UPS truck. Here, this company is not only selling cheap sticks with your name on it for a great price, they're shipping it to you for free. This is awesome.
Yeah, this is really good.
Awesome.
No, we'll always promote stuff like
Hey, how do we, anybody work at Northland? We, be cool to call it the Northland Steve Dangle Podcast, wouldn't it?
Ooh.
This is perfect. Christmas is coming up,
Yeah.
Like 2 months away, you get one of these packs of sticks and you get a whole bunch for very cheap.
I would have died to have my name printed on a hockey stick.
When you were a kid?
Imagine. That would have
so
been
cool.
everything.
Yeah.
So
really
cool. The last thing I want to do before we hit the press conference, Jesse, I sent you a text. Can you bring this up? Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Oh, goodness.
Owner of the
Now what?
XFL and the
Now what?
USFL.
That's enough, Dwayne.
A wax figure of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is at a museum in Paris. And I just wanted to know what you thought of Dwayne "The Rock." Why do they do this? I've always wondered about wax museum, and I'm like, who goes to a wax museum? And for what reason, really?
I
mean, it looks good.
Yeah? Question mark?
That's all right. He's got a weird cone head.
Does have a bit of a cone.
What's
and maybe the lighting.
Yeah.
Do they get to like?
Oh, is it the lighting?
Do they get to ask? Like, or do they just make it of you and you have to just deal with that if you're a famous person? Also, they kind of made him well endowed. I got to point that out.
Oh, shit.
Damn.
Oh, God.
I've never had pants that fit like that.
All right.
That is
the rock hard. Wow.
You can see his ab muscles through his shirt. Coming in here.
I'm just going to say it. This wax figure looks more like John Cena than The Rock.
It does look a little like
I know who they're going for, which is good.
Yeah, yeah. Like, remember the Cristiano Ronaldo statue that was terrible?
That was horrendous.
The only funny thing that I've ever seen James Corden do was he tricked David Beckham into thinking that there was a statue of him being unveiled, and it looks nothing like him, and it looked terrible.
Oh, really?
And it's actually a really funny bit.
I've never seen that.
I was never a big James Corden guy, but that was a funny bit. And they had this fake artist render, here's what it's going to look like, and Dave was like, oh, that looks great. And then they do the unveiling, and it looks nothing like him. And
How
he's
do you
like...
react?
Not well. He's like, this isn't anything like what you told me it was going to look like. And it's funny.
It'd be funnier if he was like, oh, it's great.
Oh, it's funny. No, it's awkward.
Oh, we got him.
We got him. I don't like a good prank.
I don't know.
You don't like a good prank?
YouTube has spoiled pranks for me.
Well, because they're all fake?
Because all these kids are awful about it. So, what do you do?
Sorry, I was looking at your computer screen and I realized my face showed up
Oh, in my camera.
on your camera.
Yeah. I don't. The YouTubers have ruined prank videos, so I'm
That's fair.
pranks.
This is a prank where we burn down a house.
Yeah.
And you're just like, what the fuck is wrong with
Hey,
you?
we murdered your dad.
Who got in trouble
Prank.
for the fake kidnapping where the guys jump out of a van
Oh,
and they're in a mask and they have guns and they kidnap like a woman and then like
It's a prank.
and and it was like it was one of those ones where they actually had to peek behind the curtain and go, okay guys, this is fake and everybody knew and these are actors.
Yeah, I think
That
it was
was like the
some,
first-
some people called the dropouts. They had a fake kidnapping prank on police, but this feels like it's so staged. Look at these police outfits.
Dude,
I'm always blown away by what people will believe with this.
Oh, they gotta know this is a police car, but I don't know. This looks kind of staged.
I really did think media literacy would go up as time went on, and it has not.
Can I
Almost all of these videos are fake.
I want
Almost all.
to. This is a funny story, but it does kind of point to that. You'll see like CTV News in Canada will put out a story, and then they'll get a bazillion comments from people going, "Fake news! You're losers! Go get another vaccine!" Like whatever. One person on hockey Twitter about 4 weeks ago, and I thought this was funny, but people believed him. Posted a random receipt and said the SDP was just in here and they walked out without tipping. And everybody, at first I'm like, this is funny. And then we started getting emails going, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? And I'm like, this, and the person who made the tweet is like, guys, calm down. It's just a joke. But there were so many people who flat out just believed it. Like verified news source, go fuck yourself. Guy with, we don't even know your first name, must be the truth.
And they had to be like, thank goodness they were good about it.
Oh, they were
They're
hilarious
like,
about it.
Hey, we were kidding. Like it is an all-time great time to be a bad person.
What do you mean?
Oh, because if you just wanted to fuck with people and do that, you could.
Absolutely.
And droves of morons would believe you.
Yes.
Like I listen, you gotta do some critical thinking, man. And like, listen, sometimes you get got.
Yeah.
But like maybe
I still think that was funny.
I thought it was funny, but too many people were like, "What the fuck?" And it's man. Anyway, like I don't.
Let's do the press conference.
I can't.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Along those lines, an example of me getting got. It's one of my favorite hockey memes. Is maybe once a month for the last 5 years, people will post the same photo of like pre-game of a Panthers game. And there's like only a few hundred people in the building. They're like, whoa, this was the attendance tonight.
Oh, that's shitty.
And people go,
Poor
oh
Florida.
man, that's terrible. But everyone falls for it every single time.
Well, I would probably.
It's a meme.
Yeah, it is a meme.
Like, fool me 26 times. Shame on me every time.
Yeah.
Shame on me 25 of the times.
Jesse, what do you got?
We were supposed to bring up a lot earlier in the show, Easter Seals.
Oh, yeah!
Ontario, and
Yeah!
the Eric Lindros Celebrity Classic and Rachel's Raiders. Steve Dangle, take the floor.
Yes, every year I ask you for money, but it's not for me. It's for Easter Seals Ontario, which is a charity that helps out kids with physical disabilities. It is near and dear to my heart. It is personal to my family because we relied on Easter Seals. We went to Easter Seals camps. Actually, sorry, I should back up. Assuming everyone knows my family origin story and everything. My sister was born at 24 weeks. Babies typically go 35 to 40 weeks. She was born 24 weeks. At the time, it was one of the most premature surviving babies ever, basically. And that has given her a lot of challenges throughout her life. And one of them is cerebral palsy. And that's where Easter Seals comes in. They help my family with camp experiences. They have Easter Seals camps that are accessible, and that's so important. And you don't even realize it. Again, we had a family of 4, my parents, myself, and my sister, and it was so rare for us to go out and have a good time. We basically just went to McDonald's. That was it. It was like one of the only places we could go to that was like accessible and Rachel enjoyed. To this day, and I've talked to Adam and Jesse about this, I still hate the beach. To this day, I still hate the beach. And it's because we tried to go once or twice, and it was a fucking disaster. It was horrible. Here's me swearing during a charity promo. But there was a beach at one of the Easter Seals camps that we went to, and we all had a great time. We had a great time in the water, and Rachel loved the water for years after that. They help out kids with not just wheelchairs, but also customized equipment. You'd be amazed at the stuff that these kids need. So we're raising money for that. The Eric Lindros Celebrity Hockey Classic always raises money for that. I can tell times are tough. We had the conversation about the hockey tickets. I can tell times are tough based on the donations. They're slow, and there's no one to blame for that. If you have anything, even if it's $5, I don't every year take pride in raising the most money. We have been kicking ass in that regard. We've raised nearly $400,000 over since 2017. But what I take the most pride in is we have the most donors always. So 5, 10, 15, 20, any of that.
2 even counts.
2.
1 counts.
Are they? Can you do 2? I don't know if there's a minimum.
Okay.
But like if you're able to do like $5, I'd be extremely grateful. It doesn't take that much money to get to one full day at camp, or one non-motorized wheelchair. One motorized wheelchair is where we start to get a little more expensive. And I'll do the legwork. I'll do most of the legwork, but I need you.
Yeah, the thing about us having the most volume of donations is very important because there's groups like Team TD who will be like, we raised $10,000 on 3 donors.
Yeah.
I'm like, you guys, y'all work in finance. It's unfair.
Right, exactly. Right? Like we do sometimes get bigger donors, and if that matches a description of you're definitely welcome to donate thousands.
We're not going to turn that away.
Yeah, no, if you want to do that, like, it's cool.
If you have it, that'd be great. You have my blessing. But if you don't have that, 5, 10, 15, something like that, that'd be perfect. That'd be awesome. And thank you in advance.
Love it.
At Baltimore BRSRK wrote
Baltimore Berserker
on Twitter, why isn't the whole gang down here at CODA for the USGP? Adam, take that over.
That
What?
would be that's for the race this weekend.
Oh.
Well, the whole gang isn't there, but Tim Haraney is.
Hey!
And
Explain what CODA is for people.
Isn't it Circuit of the Americas?
It's the name of the track.
Yeah. Which is a very Texas name for a track. There's so many racetracks in America, but this is the Circuit of the Americas, not just of America, but all of North and South Americas. This is the one.
Uruguay,
Circuit of the Americas, World Series baseball.
all of them. they got a
That's literally the same thing.
world champions of what? Love that.
So Tim's down there, and he just wrapped up his interview with Zach Brown, who is McLaren's team principal. And I think he's not the team principal; he's the CEO of McLaren. Just McLaren generally. He's a pretty big deal. So that's very exciting. Heard rumors that Netflix may have filmed that interview as well. So our boy Timothy might make it. I think he's made Drive to Survive before.
I think he's in it twice. The most recent one, I think his arm, the back of his head.
The back of his head.
Oh, hell yeah.
There. He's like holding out the microphone. You see him there in the back of his head. He's in Drive to Survive.
Yeah. So if you can spot Tim in Drive to Survive. But it's a.
We need to get hats with SDPN on the back.
I would love to go. I would love to go to the Circuit of the Americas one because it's in Austin. I could never, or maybe I don't want to count myself out forever, but the Vegas one seems like it's going to be so expensive that normal people just can't. Miami's already sort of leaning that way. So good old Texas, right? 500,000 people will be there this weekend and they can all afford it.
Is that all?
That's all. Yeah, it was 480,000 last year.
How many Jets games is that?
How many Jets games is
Holy
that?
shit.
Oh my God.
How much was it? 500,000?
Yeah.
That's what Adam says. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because certain parts of Europe, it's like not a big deal, but in North America, Formula One is like exploded. 500,000, and you're
500,000 divided by a sellout of 15,000. That is 33. That's nearly a regular season of Jets.
Yeah, because it's only 41 home games.
Holy
and the
shit.
33 Jets games.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big money sport, and if you want a weekend pass, they can be. I mean, I remember in Montreal, I went like 6-7 years ago, and watched Mercedes walk with like a 1-2. It was Rosberg and Hamilton, and I think the weekend pass might have been $350. Now it's $1,500. Whoa! Yeah, yeah, wild.
Wow.
I'll end the show on this, just based on what you just were talking about there about going down to Texas and seeing that. If you could plan one SDP road trip show at an NHL team city, which one would it be?
Vegas.
You get one location.
T-Mobile Center, Vegas. Done.
All right. That's Adams.
Does it
Steve?
have to be an actual road trip, like where we take a car?
No, we can fly there.
Oh, that's cheating.
Steve would be like, Ottawa, because I just don't want to be that far away. I don't like traffic.
The Leafs have a game at Hamilton this year?
Yeah. I really liked that. It was away, but not too far.
Hamilton is actually far as fuck
It is far.
if you're
It's
east
not.
of the city.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
supposed to say, it's not that far.
I think I still lived in Oshawa at the time.
Oh, yeah.
You know
That's a
there's
2-hour trip for
You
you.
know there's people who commute from Hamilton to Toronto every day for their job.
I don't
Yeah, and
know
they
how
love
do
it.
Yeah, I bet they do.
Yeah, but they must like it. at
Those
least.
people are why our show does well. Who's going to listen to a 90-minute podcast? I'll tell you who. People who got to commute from fucking Hamilton or Niagara to Toronto.
It's a tough
You
game.
take,
So
you
who is
take-
it?
you take Aldershot to Union Station. It's not that bad.
Yeah, it's
It's
true.
a long train ride, but at least it's direct.
You put in your headphones. You turn on SDP as you board the train at Old Comer Station.
That's in the north.
Yeah, that's you're not.
No,
Old Comer
I
is
just
in the
wanted to
north.
say Old
Yeah, you
Comer.
just really wanted
The
to
real
say that.
station, though.
Old Comer.
Okay, so
Sorry.
what's your city?
Okay, I don't want to say Vegas because one of you already said Vegas, and it just feels too obvious. I don't want to say Nashville because
We've done it.
That's overdone, and we're not a bachelorette party. Don't want to say Canada because I feel like you'll get mad at me. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Good. I was right. Ooh.
What you got?
You know what? I got it. New York.
Hey, yeah.
I want to
Hold
go.
on,
though. MSG.
I want to mulligan at my Rangers game. I want to get real tickets this time, and I want to go to Madison Square Garden.
We should do the trifecta if we do New York.
Yeah,
we go Rangers, Devils, Islanders.
There you go.
Or whichever. the
Yeah,
Islanders
and
then
by the way,
Devils.
screw the other New York team. Am I right?
Buffalo.
Yeah. Screw them.
I'm talking. Let's go over to Buffalo.
Let's
too,
talk
then.
real New York. Not Cheektowaga.
Oh, you mean Albany Jr.? There's my attempt at New York State humor.
I like it.
Was it good?
Also-
did I do good?
New York State, home of Watkins Glen, the one of the best racetracks in the world.
Oh, well,
throwing it
yeah.
out there.
Thanks, Adam.
Everybody who's a race fan will know Watkins Glen.
And you know what it's also home to?
What?
Really honest people when crossing the border.
Super honest.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Connection complete.